With the rise of Insomniac's Wolverine game set to come out in the next few years, I figured I'd look back and critique one of my favorite games of all time, X-Men Legends 2: Rise of Apocalypse. As biased as I am, I will try my hardest to remove the nostalgia goggles and be as neutral as possible, so grab some snacks, get yourself a drink, and enjoy. Oh, and before I forget, these are my opinions. Don't like it?
I don't give a fuck!
The X-Men Legends series was developed by Raven Software, which would go on to spawn the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, perfecting their formula. They're also responsible for assisting in developing multiple Call of Duty games. The concept for MUA, as I'll call it, is essentially the same as its predecessors, but with a roster expanded to include characters from the entire Marvel Comics universe. The latest entry is MUA 3, exclusively on the Nintendo Switch, which is a real shame since I was looking forward to playing it. However, I don't own a Switch, so oh well. As a kid, I remember thinking Wolverine was the most badass character I've ever seen in fiction. And with my recent viewing of Deadpool and Wolverine,
it was perfect. Perfect. Everything.
That opinion still stands. I was also around 6 years old when I saw the first film, and the only media I consumed consistently at the time was Dragon Ball and Thundercats. So the X-Men films and cartoons were a welcome addition to my media consumption. X-Men Legends 2 was the first X-Men game I ever owned. I remember trying to blaze through the game as fast as I could because I didn't understand what a memory card was. The Savage Land was the farthest I would ever get because I didn't understand that specific character skills were great room clearers. So I would get to the Nuwali Temple and immediately get stomped because I just had a bad case of skill issue. For the best viewing experience, I decided to play the PC version with a controller because while I could get used to a keyboard and mouse, it still felt very awkward, so controller it is. The game loosely follows the Age of Apocalypse storyline from the comics, which takes place in an alternate universe of Earth 616 known as Earth 295. However, the characters in the game all use their designs from the Ultimate Universe, designated as Earth 1610. I know that I just confused a lot of you, but bear with me. The simplest way to explain this timeline bullshit is to think of Earth 1610 as the main character, Earth 295 as an alternate version of that, and the Ultimate Universe as the edgy side character. I hope that was enough because otherwise I might as well be explaining quantum physics. Also, fun fact, Miles Morales is from Earth 1610, so hopefully that helps. On the main menu, you can choose between easy and normal. Hard mode is grayed out and you can only unlock it by beating the game. So I picked normal. We then get a really nice pre-rendered cutscene setting up the plot of the game.
Go. Amuse yourselves. Nice trick. What do you do for an encore?
Which way?
There.
Polaris, she's been abducted.
Indeed, Charles.
It appears we both have a grievance with Apocalypse.
You know, despite being over 20 years old, this cutscene is still stunning to look at. The studio responsible for creating the pre-rendered cutscenes in the game was none other than Blur Studios, the team responsible for the cinematic trailers for the Arkham games. You might be thinking, I recognize those voices.
Nice trick. What do you do for an encore?
Well, I hope you do, because Wolverine was voiced by Steve Bloom, who is one of the best voice actors in the industry, and you can fight me on that. He's voiced Tank Dempsey from COD Zombies.
Hey, bots! Fuck you!
Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop.
Love the kind of woman that can kick my ass.
And so many more. The Professor is voiced by the man who played the character on the big screen, Sir Patrick Stewart. And as with everything, his performance as Xavier is stellar. So Polaris, the mutant daughter of Magneto, is kidnapped by Apocalypse, and Magneto, together with the X-Men, break into the compound containing Professor X in order to team up against Apocalypse. Nightcrawler teleports in and gets him out, and we are thrown into the gameplay. If you played X-Men Legends 1, you were restricted to playing as the X-Men, but in Legends 2, one of the selling points of the game was the inclusion of the Brotherhood in the player's roster.
Oh, the Brotherhood. They have been our sworn enemies for as long as I can remember. Led by a madman who was once my closest friend. But now, a new evil has surfaced. One with powers beyond comprehension. And those we have battled against for so long will become something we never imagined. Our allies.
Now, the PC version of the game had Pyro and Sabretooth as exclusives. The PSP version had X-Man, Cable, Cannonball, and Dark Phoenix. And the N-Gage version had Beast. Prevalent among all versions, except for maybe the N-Gage, are 3 unlockable characters, 2 of which you can only unlock by beating the game once. I'll touch on the 3rd character later. You get these little tutorial hints, which are just text dumps telling you how to use specific mechanics. However, these are kind of inconsistent, because further in the game, one tutorial just teaches you how to grab an enemy. Yes, because 2 hours later, I still don't know how to grab. As we try to leave, Sabretooth and Mystique get locked out and we'll have to find another way out. We are then greeted by the prison guards who weren't too happy about being ragdolled by Magneto earlier. So, combat. X is light attack, circle is heavy attack, and square is a throw. There are basic combos like pop-ups, stuns, trips, and knockbacks, which are basic but fun. However, the meat and potatoes of the combat are the abilities. Every character starts with one mutant ability. With Magneto, he starts with Levitation, which picks up enemies and throws them. Funnily enough, he can use Levitation on any enemy regardless of whether they are metallic or not. I understand why they did this for the sake of gameplay, so it's not a criticism, it's just a humorous observation. From a gameplay perspective, it was probably better to just do that. With the guards taken care of, there's this green laser door thing, and as a kid, I never knew how to open it to get the potions inside. It turns out all I had to do was switch to Magneto and use Levitation. As we fight our way out of the compound, Wolverine levels up and I am given a prompt asking me if I want all of my skill points to be automatically allocated by the CPU. I opt not to do this and allocate points myself because the CPU will distribute them evenly, leaving you massively underpowered later on. Not long after Logan levels up, the rest of the team follows suit. After breaking a few barrels and crates, we leave the compound and are transported to the sanctuary. I'll let Sir Patrick Stewart explain this part.
Greetings. This location is known as the Sanctuary, a retreat of Magneto's. It will serve as our base of operations while we're here on the island of Genosha. Several days ago, Apocalypse attacked the city of Genosha. Magneto and several of his people were able to escape, but the rest of the populace was trapped. After helping to rescue me, Magneto requested the X-Men's aid in freeing Genosha. I could hardly refuse. Apocalypse is far too strong for either team to battle alone. I realize this is a stressful situation, but remember, thousands of lives are depending on us. We must learn to work together. Talking to people around camp will activate your objectives. To receive briefings, activate the mission computer here to my side. Right now, you should speak with Sabretooth. He requires aid in finding a mutant he had helped escape from Genosha. Good luck to you.
Perfectly said, Professor. So, the mission computer, as he just said, is where you view these mission briefings about the objectives within the current chapter. X-Men Legends 2 is divided into 5 distinct chapters, each with its own hub area. Here is the first gripe I would have with the game. In X-Men Legends 1, each briefing played out as you progress through the story. But in Legends 2, the briefings are entirely optional. Making these briefings mandatory, like the first game, would have helped to build up the story better and given the player time to get attached to the characters. Well, that and you would miss some pretty humorous exchanges between certain characters.
Oh, what about a prediction of one of us ratting the others out? Ain't we gonna do something about that?
An interesting point, Toad. But what would you have us do?
How should I know? You're the one with the big brain. You figure it out.
I mean, to be fair, if you're an X-Men fanboy like me, then I guess it doesn't really matter. But if you're a newcomer, then you might get confused about things. This is the little trivia game where you can answer X-Men related trivia from the comics and receive XP, which is pretty cool. Over here is our storage unit where we can store gear that is too high level, and right next door is Beast, who serves as the in-game shop. I like this little thing they did where if you approach an NPC as either an X-Man or a member of the Brotherhood, the NPC will respond with either friendliness or hostility, depending on who they're aligned with.
Salutations, my friend. It's most agreeable to see you. Anytime, my good friend. Hello. Are you in need of help? Yes. I shall be counting the seconds.
Another fun little tidbit that I actually found out while recording footage for this video was that if you're playing as Magneto and going around the sanctuary, you'll find a destroyed bridge, which Magneto acknowledges.
I am forced to admire the thoroughness of Apocalypse's army. They even managed to locate and bomb the sanctuary. The living area of this facility is useless to me now.
Back on track, this blue thing on the ground is an extraction point. Here you can save your game, fast travel to other extraction points, and switch party members. I decided for this run to go for characters that have unique dialogue with the game's bosses, if they have one, and Chapter 1 has a decent number of them. So I switch out Magneto for Toad, Cyclops for Jean Grey, Storm for Cyclops, don't know why I didn't just switch out Storm for Jean, but whatever, and Wolverine for Iceman. After messing with their skill points and such, we talked to Sabretooth about the mutant girl he was trying to rescue.
Never thought I'd see the day the Brotherhood be working alongside you, X-Bukes. Much as I hate it, I need your help. A couple of hours ago, I went to Genosha to rescue a kid named Blink. But one thing led to another, and we wound up fighting a bunch of guards. During the fight, Blink was going to teleport us to the dead zone, but she got hit and disappeared without me. I wound up having to slug my way out of there alone. Yeah, I do. Go see that mission computer if you want a full briefing.
I know I said all the mission briefings were optional. Well, that was half true. This first one is mandatory, and the rest are optional. We see Professor X press a thing, and we get a full briefing about Blink.
Sabretooth has just informed us that a citizen of Genosha has escaped. Unfortunately, she's hurt, and in an area known as the Dead Zone.
Who is it?
A young woman named Blink. Sabretooth had gone to Genosha to rescue her.
That don't sound right. Sabretooth tried to save someone.
Don't think too hard on it, Tiny, 'cause he wouldn't ever save an X-Man.
Question is, who's gonna save you, Bullethead?
Cut it out, you two. Let the professor talk.
Let's get one thing straight, Boy Scout. I don't take orders from you.
See? It's just like I told you, Psych. Juggernaut ain't housebroken yet.
Gentlemen, please, let us focus on more important matters.
Who's Blink?
She's a very gifted mutant with the ability to teleport.
So she's like Nightcrawler.
Only in the vaguest sense. Blink can teleport as far away as the moon.
Wow, that sure leaves the elf in the dust.
Did you say Blink might be hurt?
Yes, she was injured while attempting to teleport out of Genosha.
And that is why a team of you is needed to immediately begin searching the Dead Zone for this young woman. Good luck to you.
If you don't recognize Juggernaut's voice actor, then I'm afraid you're not a real Gears of War fan. Yep, that's John DiMaggio, aka Marcus Phoenix. In fact, you've got a lot of heavy hitters in this cast. I mean, Grey Delisle as Mystique, Azula, D. Bradley Baker as Nightcrawler? The voice of Appa and Momo? Honestly, D. Bradley Baker as Nightcrawler is underrated as hell. A close second is definitely Liam O'Brien, followed closely by Brad Swale. Now our objective is clear: traverse the dead zone in search of the mutant Blink. Sabretooth kindly opens the gate, and the first thing we see is Blink being carried off by giant spiders. Yay! Okay, so for starters, there's a big fire blocking our way to our immediate right. Use Iceman's slow beam to get rid of it, and voila! Another fire on a crashed plane, but we put it out and we confront the Brood. They're basically space bugs. Strange, I know, but that's comic books for you. Further ahead, we see another instance of Blink being dragged across the ground by giant spawns of Satan. And the game knows I'm right because there's red ones. Here's a cool feature: as Iceman we can make bridges at these locations with an X marker. The only other mutants who can do this are Jean Grey and Magneto. After disposing of the Scourge critters, I smash some boxes and proceed further, getting one final cutscene of the big nopes scurrying around with Blink still unconscious. We deal with some more Scourge critters and come across a new enemy type in this open area, these little drone things. They're more annoying than anything because they can briefly stun you. Iceman levels up from the encounter, followed shortly by Toad and eventually Jean Grey. I'd like to take a moment to talk about the characters themselves, specifically Toad. Now, despite how he may have been portrayed in the cartoons as a coward, and trust me, he still is,
This infighting will stop, or you will answer to me. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Toad is actually kind of a beast in this game. He's like a jack of all trades, not broken by any means. Yeah, I'm looking at you, but not a complete disappointment either, like some characters in this game. Anyways, in the character sheet there are 4 primary stats: body, focus, strike, and speed. Body increases your health, focus increases your energy points, or EP. Think of a mana pool in any fantasy game with magic ever. Strike affects the damage output of your melee attacks, and speed increases not only your movement speed,
So that was a fucking lie.
but your attack and defense rating, meaning the more you invest in it, the more likely you are to dodge an attack, and your melee attacks are more likely to land. My setup for Toad is to first get his focus in the same realm as his other stats and then distribute his points between body, focus, and strike. I invest in Secretion, which is a party-wide boost that increases damage output and movement speed, which is pretty damn useful, especially if you're rocking an all-brawler team. I give him some gear and switch his AI to boosts whenever I press the Call Allies button, as I found this to be the most helpful setting for AI teammates. I do the same with the rest of my team. For Jean Grey, she is a focus-based character, meaning she relies on her mutant powers more than her physical prowess. In the first X-Men Legends, Jean Grey was absolutely busted in melee combat, but was toned down much more here. She starts with telekinesis, which does the same thing as Magneto's levitation. I also invest in Mental Vortex, a party-wide boost that turns damage into EP, making it that much more enticing for a brawler to get up close and personal. For her stats, I mainly invested in focus and body, as she will mostly be staying out of melee range, supporting the team with her boosts and telekinesis. Iceman is one of my favorite characters in this game. Setup for him will be as a melee fighter because although he can be a ranged fighter, his ice combat passive and later his ice armor boost actually makes him pretty viable for the role, but his only mutant ability available right now is Ice Shards, and that one sucks. So ice combat it is. Back in the actual game, I find a tech station. These are scattered around the game and serve as permanent boosts to specific stats. This one increases strike, so I let Iceman take it. Further along the path, we are faced with a unique enemy. This one can regenerate, but clearly not fast enough. Cyclops levels up, and he's kind of okay, at least in the beginning. His Optic Blast is nothing special, as he gets more powerful versions later on. I invest in his leadership passive, which increases the team's XP so long as he is on your team. Body, focus, and speed will be his setup. After taking care of the Australian-sized nopes, I switch to Toad and have a unique conversation with Blink.
Wow, do I have a headache. Oh, hi Toad. What are you doing in Genosha?
Kid, I hate to tell you, but this ain't Genosha. It's a dead zone.
What? No, I was just in Genosha. Mr. Creed had come to save me.
That was hours ago. Sabretooth had tried to save you, but the oaf brought half of Apocalypse's guards down on you.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. Mr. Creed's not exactly the quiet type, is he?
That he ain't. He should have me come along to help. But when it comes to you, old Sabretooth, he don't think so clear.
We then ask her more about Sabretooth, and Blink assures us that he is a good guy, but given who Sabretooth is, I'm less inclined to believe her. After ensuring Blink's safety, the professor gives us our next objective.
You did an exemplary job of rescuing Blink. Your next objective is to locate the security codes needed to enter Genosha. It is believed the crashed airships in the dead zone will contain the desired codes.
And Blink offers her powers as a reward for rescuing her.
Say, if you're looking to get to the next island, you're gonna need my help. Let me create 2 portals to get you there. It's no trouble. Tell you what, I'll even port the entire team to camp and back whenever you want. Sure, it's my mutant ability. Why not use it to help defeat Apocalypse?
It's at this point where I go back and get a full briefing on the security codes.
Let me begin this meeting by saying I'm encouraged by how well our venture went with Blink.
Like I care what you think, little brother.
Watch it, Jugs. You better mind your manners.
I'm guessing your mutant power is the ability to absorb pain, 'cause no one talks to me like that.
I'm not looking for a fight. All I want is for you to show Professor Xavier a little respect.
Like the respect you X-Men have been showing us? Oh, that's bloody rich. Ever since you come to Genosha, you've been treating us like we got the plague. If you ask me, you're all a bunch of uptight snobs.
Y'all better watch your tongue, Toad, before I decide to take it for a trophy.
Silence! Let Xavier speak.
Thank you, Eric. To free Genosha, we must first acquire the security codes for the city's doors.
Doesn't Magneto already know them?
No. The codes were computer-generated daily and transmitted to the airships. I can only hope Apocalypse hasn't figured out how to generate new codes.
So the airships out in the dead zone should contain the latest security codes.
Correct. And that is why a team is needed to venture further into the dead zone. There they can retrieve access codes from the computer of a downed airship.
Ha! Maybe you better save me for a bigger mission. This one sounds like it's gonna be a cakewalk.
We can only hope. Be on your way, and be on your guard. Good luck.
With the whole context of why we need these security codes, we are teleported to the next island. The game informs us that Blink serves as a teleport marker and can make it easier to get to a specific area, making it more versatile than extraction points. We then receive a call from Forge warning us of a threat in the area.
Be careful in this area. I've just detected that someone's activated the Genoshan automated defensive system. Reconnaissance drones are going to be painting moving targets for tactical missile strikes. So if you see a beam of light, keep away from it. It had to have been deliberate. Someone reset the communication dish for the system. Yes, keep an eye out for it. A piece of equipment like that shouldn't be hard to find.
Coincidentally, this targeting beam is exclusive to the first act and does not appear again. So after ending the transmission, we run around the area, taking out the few drones flying around while avoiding the targeting beam as best I can. I take this time to invest a point in the critical strike for Toad, which, as the name implies, increases the chances for a critical hit. The ground suddenly caves in and we are thrown into the Circe caverns. However, if you turn around, you can exit the caverns and search the unexplored areas before the ground caves in. You'll find a few drones, a couple of nopes, and 1 out of 4 homing beacons. There are 4 beacons scattered throughout each act, excluding the last act. These will be key to unlocking one of the hidden characters later. Congratulations, we can now fly as Jean Grey. Why that's not a default ability, I don't know. Also, the other mutants who can fly are Storm, Magneto, Rogue, and Sunfire. Back in the caverns, Professor X tells us a little bit more about the Circe.
They're known as Circe. Apocalypse had them genetically designed to aid in the attack on Genosha. They could potentially overrun the island in a matter of weeks.
Remember when I said these things are basically space bugs? Well, I wasn't joking. The Circe are heavily inspired by the Brood, an alien insectoid species whose sole purpose is to reproduce and consume everything. While they are commonly associated with the X-Men, they've appeared in a decent number of comics against Captain Marvel. Hell, she's even teamed up with the X-Men on some occasions. They're like if a xenomorph somehow got gooped by the Carnage symbiote, and I don't even think that description does them enough justice. I mean, just look at this. I hate the fact that I know the context behind that comic. Upon the entrance to the first cave, we comment on the tunnels being enormous, as well as the Circe seeming to like shiny objects. To my left, there is an irradiated enemy which saps your health when you stand near it. You'll want to prioritize these guys whenever possible. We pick up what we think are the security codes, but it turns out it's only half the code. The other half must be on the other side of these caverns. Well, that's not at all inconvenient. Anyways, we navigate through the Circe caverns, cast some more spawns of evil back from whence they came, and proceed through a gauntlet of hell before finding a danger room disc. These little things contain training levels that can give you some good boons like XP and some really good equipment later on. We then pass through a ravine within a cavern. Interesting, I didn't realize we were playing Minecraft. To our right, we got a creeper with enhanced damage. Simply kill him before he kills you. Job done. We find our second homing beacon before going through another gauntlet of enemies, but not before examining these writhing cocoons that kinda look like turds. Ah, finally, fresh air. No more giant bugs. Oh look, red rangers. They're literally called rangers, and they're red, so... Oh look, a data disk. Collect 4 of these and your max capacity for EP and health potions will permanently increase by 2. As we approach the bridge, I almost forget to switch to Jean Grey for the next unique dialogue.
Well, ain't this a pleasant surprise? Little Miss Jean Grey of the X-Men.
Grizzly, what are you doing in the dead zone?
I'm tracking down anybody who might have escaped from Genosha. The little ingrates keep trying to run away.
This isn't you, Grizzly. I can feel your confusion. You're not a bad person. Let me use my psychic powers to help you.
Wow, what a really great idea! I let you tinker with my mind, and the next thing I know, I'm thinking I'm a 9-year-old little girl. You don't suppose you could get Xavier to braid my hair?
I would never tamper with your mind, Grizzly. But I could help you get your feelings under control. Help you deal with all the rage.
But I like my rage. It keeps me warm at night. Now why don't you tell me why you're looking for computer nodes?
I'm sorry, Grizzly, but I can't say.
Shucks! And I thought we was becoming close pals, Genie. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to go find me one of those gizmos myself. But just so you know I care, Gene, I'll let you play with my killer robot buddies!
So, Grizzly isn't actually a character, but a code name given to different people in the comics. The incarnation we are confronted with here is Theodore Winchester, easily the coolest incarnation of him, as another incarnation of him is a guy in a literal bear suit who frequently gets into fights with Spider-Man. I know Rhino also exists, but the same argument can be made about him. He looks dumb as hell. The Winchester incarnation of Grizzly is a mutant who possesses a bear-like body with superhuman strength. He's also a mass murderer who served Apocalypse during the Age of Apocalypse storyline. At least this game's loose adaptation of that story. After we take care of the killer robots, I take a detour to find some more Red Rangers and create a bridge leading to our first cache, which houses a myriad of things, such as tech bits, the in-game currency, potions, and equipment. Back on the main road, we find a computer node. More rangers, more robots, more fun, addicting gameplay. I'm serious, this can be addicting. It's one of the main reasons I'm even making this video because I just binged this game for like 2 weeks straight one time. We get yet another interaction with Grizzly, but this time as Iceman.
Hey, isn't this one of them computer things you've been looking for? Hope you don't mind, but I've been wanting one too. So I guess I'll just take it.
Leave that computer node alone, or you're gonna find out what it really means to be chillin'.
I didn't know there were ex-kids. You're a cute little fella. What are you gonna be when you grow up?
Oh yeah, good one, Grizzly. But shouldn't you be rummaging through garbage cans and begging for food scraps at the campgrounds?
Oh yeah, you're that smart aleck, Bobby Drake. I knew you were young, but wow, are you even old enough to drive?
Yes, I'm old enough to drive. I've had a license for... Shut up, Grizzly. Just shut up and hand over that computer node.
You are a spunky little thing, ain't you, Iceman?
You're 2 seconds away from becoming the furriest icicle in the world, and you aren't leaving here with that computer node.
Wrong, Bobby. I am leaving. But since you look a little cold, I'm gonna crank up the heat. See you later, sucker.
After that humorous exchange, I like bad puns, leave me alone. Grizzly f***s off and blocks the way with fire from a jet engine, and the camera points out to us a box with a red marker on it. After we gain control over our team, we are attacked by more killer robots and a singular Red Ranger. If a whole group of them couldn't stop us, what does this one guy think he was going to accomplish? We destroy the box controlling the jet engine and voila, flames extinguished. I can't help but feel like Jean Grey, or especially Iceman, could have dealt with that fire easily, but let's not question logic. After having this team for so long, I decided to switch them up for the inevitable battle against Grizzly. Perhaps I should have mentioned this before, but better late than never. So all playable characters level up as you progress through the game. However, they level up much faster if they are on your team versus when they aren't. Definitely something to think about. Might want to hit the danger room later at some point. I switch out Jean Grey for Magneto, Toad for Nightcrawler, and Cyclops for Wolverine. Nightcrawler is similar to Toad in that he is sort of a jack of all trades, but arguably better in terms of combat. Build him up correctly and he's basically Minato. I invest 1 point into teleport, which do I even need to explain what that does? His stats will be evenly distributed for the most part, but will later focus more on speed, as later on he can get a buff called Shadow Master, which boosts his attack rating by 10% and defense rating by 40%, making most melee attacks miss. On top of that, enemies are more likely to ignore you while this buff is in effect. Wolverine needs no introduction, he's the poster boy of the X-Men. I put 1 point into Berserker Rage, which increases his defense and attack speed for a limited time. This combined with Toad's Secretion boost, and you've got a duo that can dish out some real damage at a high rate. His stats will be spread between body and strike, with an occasional boost to focus. Finally, we have Magneto, the best tank in the game, because by the end game, half the attacks aimed at him won't hit at all, and even when they do hit, they do half the damage. This near invulnerability makes him viable for getting up close and personal despite technically being a ranged character. In order to become basically immortal, the first step is Polarized Shield, which increases your chance to dodge incoming attacks by 30%, and it only gets higher from there the more you invest in it. I give my last point to Leadership for extra XP, and our team is set to take on Grizzly. As soon as we enter the desolated mesa, we are ambushed by veteran rangers this time, which are just beefier Red Rangers and pack a little bit more of a punch. They die all the same. Go into this little corner to destroy our radar array for some reason, an objective apparently, kill some more robots, and find a comic book. You know, I miss when superhero games had collectible comic books. Do they still even do those anymore? We also found some concept art. These I know for a fact are still in some games, but it seems like a dying tradition. Give Wolverine this focus tech station for some free points into focus and venture deeper into the unknown, battling our way through more rangers and drones till we reach Grizzly, literally backed into a corner.
Well, well, looks like you punks managed to catch up with me. But to tell you the truth, I kind of wanted you to. I was hoping we might have us a little more playtime. You must be feeling mighty brave to be ordering me around. Tell you what, why don't you come over here and try to take it from me?
We can then ask him a few questions, such as, what is Apocalypse doing in Genosha?
The real question is, what ain't he doing? He and Sinister are having a good old time there. Oh yeah, didn't you know? He's one of Apocalypse's horsemen.
What exactly is a horseman of Apocalypse?
They're Apocalypse's lieutenants. They do the grunt work so the big guy can concentrate on his master plan. 4, and you don't want to tussle with any of them. They're the baddest of the bad.
And why is Grizzly even associating with Apocalypse?
You mean why did I switch sides? I got tired of playing by the rules. Like that one about good guys not going on killing sprees.
Believe it or not, he was actually a member of Cable's mercenary group Six Pack.
This is gonna be fun!
Okay, first boss of the game, Grizzly. Now, Grizzly isn't actually too tough, but I have been killed by him before. Here is where there could have been some innovation. Some bosses later on require more calculated steps, and I like that. But other bosses, like Grizzly for example, you just have to hit him enough until he falls. He only has 2 moves. An uppercut that can send you flying, and a 3-hit combo that can knock you down. Overall, not very engaging for a boss fight. It's literally just this for the entire battle. No new moves, no variations of the same moves, no phases, no environmental advantages, nothing. Just hit him really, really hard. After we defeat Grizzly, we take the computer node, get some free levels, and get a telepathic message from the professor.
Well done. Return with it to the sanctuary at your earliest convenience. Angel arrived a short time ago, and he has some interesting news on how that code can be put to use.
Before we do that, I take a moment to level up my characters. Iceman's Slow Beam is replaced by the Superior Freeze Beam, gets some Sword Mastery for Nightcrawler as Divine Blades is his best move in the early game. Wolverine unlocks his Healing Factor, which to be honest, I personally feel that should have just been his default instead of just a passive ability, but whatever. It's not as broken as it was in Legends 1, which disappoints me. So back to the Sanctuary we go and have a conversation with Angel.
Hey, that was some clever thinking, combining the damaged codes from different ships. Professor Xavier sent me to scout for possible entrances to Genosha. I found one, but you aren't going to like the location. Deep in the Circe tunnels that border the dead zone. The bugs have uncovered a door that was buried during an earthquake. Your security code should open it. Use the mission computer if you want a full briefing.
Thanks for the reminder, Kakashi. I'm sorry, but I can't listen to his voice without hearing Kakashi. It's like Steve Bloom in Wolverine, which I really hope Steve is the one who will voice him in the upcoming Wolverine game, and if he isn't, the new guy's got big shoes to fill. Okay, rant over.
You did a commendable job of locating the Genosha security code. With that, we can now enter the city.
But old Apocalypse has got the guards posted on every door. That place is locked up tighter than a croc's jaw.
There's an entrance near the seawall that's not being watched.
I know the door you speak of. It was buried months ago during an earthquake.
Right you are, Wanda. You got it all. Beauty and intelligence. A man will be bloody lucky to have the affections of a woman like you, he would.
Please, show some self-respect.
What?
Wanda's correct. But during the attack on Genosha, Apocalypse unleashed genetically enhanced creatures known as the Circe.
They're mindless carnivorous insects. They breed at a highly accelerated rate. Unchecked, they could overrun the entire island in a matter of months.
They've already created a sizable nest, one which appears to be to our advantage. The X-Man, Angel, followed the tunnels and discovered the Circe have unearthed the door that had been buried.
Well, no worries then. I'll just wear me some bug-stomping boots and ooh, we be at that door in no time at all.
Gambit. The Circe grow to the size of a man, and they can crush rock with their mandibles.
Oh, well that's not so good.
Which is why an entire team is needed to battle through the tunnels to the door. Once there, you'll be able to use the security code and enter into a back area of Genosha. Good luck to you.
I knew it was too soon for celebration. We actually have to backtrack a little bit, get ambushed, take care of the assailants, and enter the Circe burrows. We encounter these slime maggots, which is just a purple version of the thing we fought earlier. Oh, and they can spawn little spiders. Lovely. Forgot to mention that part. Not long after entering the burrows, we are presented with red spiders. They look like they've put on more weight than the other red ones. And with that, we get a secondary objective. Destroy the drones. I like this. At least it keeps me looking out for more than just the door we're looking for. Clawmaster for Wolverine because duh. Magneto can fly now and kill Sinister's pet. That's actually the first time I've seen a Circe named that. I'm also pretty sure the buffs and debuffs and even names that enemies can carry are purely RNG. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Kill another pair of drones. Oh look, a yellow one. The next drone pair levels up Nightcrawler and I give him Teleport Mastery. This will come in handy much later in the game, but there's no harm in buffing it now. Another tech station, this one increases speed, so naturally I let Magneto have it. With the final drones taken care of, 3 of our party members level up, and we get a homing beacon out of it. Now that's how you do secondary objectives. Iceman finally gets Ice Armor, which basically acts like a Halo shield. It tanks damage instead of your health tanking it, and the best part is that once active, it doesn't go away until something hits him. The next area is the Larva Chambers. The camera pans over some eggs and we come to the conclusion that destroying the baby makers wasn't enough, so therefore we have to abort their babies. And I am more than happy to do so. A new enemy type appears, a Nightmare Terror. What an apt name, because look at that thing. Give this health tech station to Nightcrawler. Wolverine unlocks Claw Flurry, which is better used for stuns, but it still does decent damage. Magneto gets Magnetic Shell, and I'm only getting this as a requirement for something better later. By itself, it's an okay ability. It lets you hold the enemies in place for a time. But honestly, Iceman is much better suited for that purpose. The destruction of the final cluster of Hellspawn levels up Iceman, and I use it to get the best passive for any long-range character. Mutant Mastery. This increases your EP regeneration, which is always a good thing because ability spams for the win. We also enter the Queen's Lair and we encounter some humans for the first time since I got here.
So our Master Zealot was correct. He knew that followers of Magneto would attempt to enter Genosha through these caves. He is the one true leader of Genosha, and he will depose the interloper, Magneto, and claim the throne of this island for his own. We are the minions of Zealot, and we have been ordered to dispatch you.
So the Three Stooges think they pose a threat, but as it turns out, they're actually weak as hell. I'm starting to notice something. The first game's problem was that it was too hard, and this game's problem is that it's a little too easy. Especially if you compare the first act of this game to the first act of the first game. It's like night and day. Oh my lord, that is a cornucopia of hell no! On the plus side, I get Strong-Willed, a passive that increases Logan's resistances to basically everything. Find more ways to make him more broken, why don't you? Okay, first mistake of the game I've made so far. I gave Magneto Supremacy, which temporarily increases everyone's mutant abilities by 1. This sounds good at first, and even at later levels, it can increase it to 2 or even 3 levels, but it's such an EP whore that I don't even bother with it. Plus, in the late game, it hardly makes a difference anyway. Jump over this webbing, and we meet Zealot himself.
It appears my esteemed colleague Magneto is even more delusional than I thought. Don't you people realize you're following a madman? My name is Zealot. I used to be on the ruling council of Genosha. I've always been an opponent of Magneto. His lies were poisoning all mutant kind. Now that Apocalypse is here, things will be set right. What fools! You've fallen under his spell too. Don't you realize he seeks to weaken all mutants, to bend them to his own evil purposes? He seeks to make them depend on him, to look at him as some type of messiah. But I know the truth, and I will stop Magneto. Granted. Apocalypse is ruthless, but I've been assured once he's acquired what he seeks, he will leave peacefully. That was the agreement. So you see, in the end, Genosha will benefit. A pity there's no discussing the matter rationally. I'm afraid I'll have to kill you all.
With that, the caves suddenly tremble, our exit blocked off, surrounded by minions and Cersei alike. In front of us is a Cersei queen, and if we want to keep the population down, we must destroy her. Which happens relatively easily. The minions are even easier to deal with. All they throw at you is energy beams. Blocked off exit? No problem. Now, the game doesn't spell it out for you, but there is actually at least one more Cersei queen to deal with that isn't on the main path, and it's treated as an optional objective. You'd think something like fast-producing alien monstrosities would be more of a main objective, but hey, who am I to question it? A data disk is on the other side of the pits, but not to worry, Magneto easily clears. I tried to throw the Cersei queen off the cliff, but instead I threw it directly at myself, and of course it was irradiated. Shows what I get for trying to have some fun. That's actually something I remember doing a lot in this game. Whenever there was a pit, I would constantly throw enemies into it because it was an instant kill. Once again on the main path, we encounter Zealot one more time with more Stooges and a Cersei queen.
Still alive, eh? Very surprising. Very surprising indeed. But why continue? Don't you see the truth? Magneto is leading you to your destruction. But don't you see? It doesn't need saving. Once control of Genosha is handed over to me, all mutants will live in peace and prosperity. My, you can be rather thick-headed. Well, soon you won't be a bother to me or Apocalypse. Farewell, fools.
It's funny how Zealot keeps talking shit about Magneto when he's right there. But anyways, the Queen and the Stooges get stomped harder than a cockroach beneath my shoe, and we chase Zealot even further into the burrows. If Magneto is in your party, he and Zealot will have a unique conversation.
What are you doing here, Magneto? Shouldn't you be sitting on a throne giving orders? It's not your style to do any of the dirty work.
Zealot, you have no idea the number of times I wanted to permanently silence your endless prattle during the Genosian Council meetings.
You can't silence me, Magneto. The people of Genosha know that I will lead them to a better tomorrow. They are done listening to your poisonous lies.
You? As the leader? The people of Genosha would sooner be ruled over by a chimpanzee. Face it, Zealot. You are barely able to garner enough votes to join the council.
But the number of people faithful to me have grown and become more vocal. They would follow me to the ends of the earth.
The few misguided Genosians who follow you only do so because you've promised them power and prestige once you've gained control.
How wrong you are, Magneto. And once Apocalypse has found what he wants, he will hand control of Genosha over to me. Then, you will see how the people love me.
Zealot, don't tell me you're starting to believe your own lies. That can be very dangerous.
You've insulted me for the last time, Magneto. I will destroy you.
Unfortunately for him, while he is undoubtedly tougher and more interesting than Grizzly, the basic solution of just hitting him really hard still applies to Zealot. Now, sometimes he will have a unique nightmare terror with him, but it's purely random, and I'm just lucky he didn't have one beside him this time around. He can clad himself in rocks and blast away anyone around him, and the only way to avoid it is to run away from him. It will get you even if you are in the air, so don't even bother. His other attack is summoning a pillar of rock to clock you in the chin. He also has a little 1-2 punch that doesn't do too much damage, and that's about it. Both of his main attacks are annoying because you spend time watching the animation of your character getting thrown around like a ragdoll. If you do get hit, at least by his rock pillar attack, it's best to switch to someone else for immediate retaliation. We quickly dispatch of Zealot, and the game hints at us that we should talk to Mystique to inquire more about him. Well, what's there to tell? Zealot is just a mutant supremacist whose ideology is the same as Magneto's, except Magneto is a badass, and Zealot is just jealous that he isn't nearly as cool. We use the old console to open the back door to Genosha, and one of its citizens runs out and pleads for aid.
Quickly, get out of here! Apocalypse mined the seawall with bombs! If he detonates them, the entire city will flood!
You got it. Teleporting now.
When time permits, return to the sanctuary and meet with me. We should discuss this in greater detail.
As per the professor's suggestion, I make a trip back to the sanctuary, sell some gear, and switch out some party members before getting a full briefing on the situation.
You did well, battling your way through the Circe tunnels and defeating Zealot. But now, a much bigger challenge awaits us.
The X-Men survived the worst you've thrown at us, so it's not like Apocalypse is gonna slow us down.
Hey, Bobby, why don't you just shut your yap?
Huh. Big and dumb. Ooh, what an unusual combination.
So you must be looking to die, huh?
Yeah, like that's gonna happen at the hands of some bulked up steroid freak like you.
Do not trouble yourself, comrade. Allow me to deal with this Cossack.
You're certainly welcome to try, comrade. Heck, Snowboy here's even welcome to join in.
Gentlemen, this is not the time or place for your childish outbursts.
But he started it. Look, why do you always...
Robert, be quiet.
Yes, sir.
As I was saying, a much bigger challenge awaits us. Apocalypse has placed several bombs on the lower seawall of Genosha. Should we attempt to retake the city, he would detonate them.
Father, all of Genosha would flood. Thousands would drown.
And that is why we must be cautious. A team is needed to remove the charges before we venture further into Genosha. Let us proceed immediately.
Immediately we shall. The moment we enter the Genosian seawall, Nightcrawler, Gambit, and Jean Grey level up. It seems a bit much to reward you for entering a new area, but I'm not complaining. Okay, so Gambit is an interesting case. There are two ways you could play him. You could build him up to be a support fighter, kinda like Iceman, hanging back with ranged card attacks and giving buffs to the whole party, or you can be a selfish bastard focusing solely on melee combat with buffs that only benefit Gambit himself. His mutant powers aren't the most powerful, but if you build him up well, he can easily contend with some of the brawlers like Juggernaut and Wolverine. I chose to mix both of these styles because I was curious to see if it could be done. It'll also help with Gambit's Danger Room challenge later, so I invest in what I have for now. Energy Form and Energy Combat. For Jean Grey, Psionic Combat is useless because she is not a melee fighter at all. However, I do need it as a prerequisite for Telekinetic Net, but for now, Mutant Mastery takes priority. Not even 10 steps in, we already got a survivor.
Thank heavens you're here. I'm the pilot of this dirigible, and I've loaded it with escaped prisoners from Genosha. The only problem is I can't get it free from the moorings. Thanks. One more thing. Once you're done here, there are many more prisoners still in their cells. Could you free them?
The request seems simple enough, so I get to hacking away at these moorings. However, as I get to the outer ones, I am shot with what seems like super soakers. These guys are no different from the soldiers from the prison at the start of the game. Kinda lazy, but whatever, I can forgive it. Now, these things, energy demons, are new and can sap your EP if you're not careful, which is why I have Jean Grey in the party. With the last mooring destroyed, we say farewell to Varys and continue with our mission to disable the bombs along the seawall. Interesting side note, there was actually a unique dialogue with Magneto that was cut out from the final release of the game.
So, Apocalypse would even stoop to tearing down statues of me. I had not thought him to be that petty a tyrant.
I probably should have mentioned this before, but you see that? That is a combo that can only occur when two characters perform a mutant ability on an enemy at the same time. The simplest one would be to throw one enemy at one of your party members. The incentive for these is extra XP. Stack it with leadership and a good chunk of your XP will be from combos. In this corner, as I was saying, the door is locked unless you have a member of the Brotherhood in your party. However, because I have Nightcrawler, I can just do this. Once again, Nightcrawler proves himself to be one of the best X-Men. With the final homing beacon attained, we unlock a secret area back at the Sanctuary. But if I go there now, I will most certainly get wrecked. So I carry on with the mission for now, but keep that secret in mind for later. A few energy demons later, Jean Grey levels up. Finally, a point into psionic combat. Wolverine's might is upgraded because it will be relevant later. And Gambit gains mutant mastery. We enter this open area and encounter a familiar face. Or should I say, blob.
Hey! What's an X-Man doing here? I was making a break for it when this bomb went off. I knew there wasn't enough time to run, so I decided I better hold this wall together. What are you laughing about? Ha ha! Very funny, Cupcake. But why don't you shut up and defuse the other bombs before they go off and kill us all?
Well, that sounds simple enough. All we have to do is shut down bombs on either side of the room. Gambit unlocks Staff Assault, and it's not great, but it's not terrible by any means. Now we have two options. You can either press the button on the console, or, if you upgraded Wolverine's might, get him to push the metal object. You could also use any other Brawler, Magneto, or Jean Grey.
That's better. Who'd have thunk an X-Men would be helping me? Well, looks like we're gonna have to work together again, 'cause we got company.
It's a real shame that you can't play as Blob despite being one of the core members of the Brotherhood. As we battle our way through, Nightcrawler gets uncanny reflexes which gives him a better chance to dodge melee attacks. As we approach the end of the hall, Blob comes to a halt and says his goodbyes.
You X-Men ain't much use in a fight. Where'd you be if I wasn't here to save you? So what's the plan? Xavier? I don't like talking to that guy. I always get the feeling he's reading my mind.
Already on it, guys.
Even though we can't play as him, I kinda wish he at least stuck around for this next boss fight, as you'll soon find out. Yep, this used to be my first roadblock back when I was a kid. We report our progress to the professor and he gives us a side objective.
Well done. Apocalypse has apparently turned it into a makeshift prison. If you do continue on, try to free as many Genosians from their prisons as you can.
With that, a new briefing is unlocked, but we'll have to wait until after the boss fight because Blink can't set up a portal in this area. Also, if Wolverine is in your party, he will have a unique dialogue with Deathstrike.
Welcome, Wolverine. It has been quite some time since we last crossed paths.
Well, if it ain't Eureka Oyama, aka Lady Deathstrike. How you doing, Toots?
I am quite well. And I see you are still an arrogant brute.
Hey, I'm just playing to my strengths, sweetheart. So, you still out to kill me? Or did you see us shrink and get that rat's nest of a mind straightened out?
Oh, I still hold you accountable for the theft of my father's work with adamantium.
Doll, I've been trying to tell you for years. I didn't ask to have my bones covered in adamantium. It was forced on me.
You are a liar as well as a thief. And I will have your skeleton as a trophy.
Enough of the sweet talk. You're working for the jokers who took over Genosha, aren't you?
Correct. And when I discovered I would be facing you, Wolverine, I offered to work for free. Shall we begin?
Nice claws. Almost as nice as mine. But let's see if you really know how to use them.
I have trained for years in order to defeat you in battle, Wolverine. I assure you, I will not fail.
Not to devalue your threat, Logan, but yes, she absolutely knows how to use those claws. Also, Kim, my guest, is the one who voices Deathstrike, aka Mei Ling from the MGS series. Man, this cast has some talented people. This right here is her most annoying move. That ballerina-ass move. I'm not a gymnast, so I don't know the proper name of it. Her other move is this 2-hit combo that can knock you on your ass. The main takeaway from this boss fight is the fact that she will go to one of these platforms and heal herself, and you have to hit her to get her off of them. However, with Nightcrawler, you can just use teleport attack and hit her instantly. Apart from her ballerina spin kick, she's relatively easy. The healing platforms are annoying at best because she is bound to heal even just a little bit. After defeating Deathstrike, we make it a point to ask Sabretooth why she has adamantium claws like Wolverine. For some reason, they kept this but removed the actual dialogue tree, so we can't actually ask Sabretooth why she has adamantium claws. But through the power of the internet, the dialogue was still in the game's coding, and some talented people were able to mod it back in. So this is what Sabretooth had to say when asked about Deathstrike.
Even I'd steer clear of that psycho. Her name is Eureka Oyama, and there's nothing more she wants than to see Wolverine dead. Her father developed a process for bonding adamantium to human bone. She's convinced Wolverine stole that info and used it on himself.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me at all. Logan has a history of getting into bad situations. While it would be ideal to keep Jean Grey, I switch her out for Sunfire. He's a ranged fighter with a primary focus on fire and radiation damage. It's actually pretty good. So, Flamethrower, ass. That is all I have to say. Ignite, pretty decent, gets a point. Atomic Blast, also pretty decent, point into that. As for buffs, let's get Mutant Mastery, Fire Mastery, and Elemental Combat. He does have one melee attack, and it's got a short range, but it's pretty good. Notice I keep saying pretty good or decent. That's because I don't use Sunfire a whole lot, so he's kind of in the meh category. We make a pit stop back at the Sanctuary and get briefed about the Genosian prisoners.
Recent reports indicate the entire population of Genosha is under lock and key.
Why would Apocalypse do that, Professor Xavier?
He's looking for something or someone in particular. I suspect that is why he came to Genosha in the first place. I need a team of you, too.
I'm done taking orders from you, little brother. You're always thinking you know what's best.
That's because he does. So why don't you just quiet down?
He's just saying what all the Brotherhood's thinking. Why don't Magneto get to give the orders?
Toad, this isn't necessary. Charles and I discuss everything before a mission.
Yes, well, back to matters at hand. A team is needed to work their way through Genosha and release all the prisoners.
Once that's done, will we start looking for Apocalypse?
Yes, defeating him is the key to the freedom of Genosha.
Hey, Red, you're not only easy on the eyes, you're smart, too. What do you say you and me hook up later? I bet you'll find out being bad is kinda good.
You've just crossed a big line, Juggernaut.
Scott, that's enough.
But Professor!
This bickering has gone on far too long. Don't you people realize lives are at stake? We have no time to quarrel about our petty differences.
Ah, that cuts it. Let's ditch the X-Gits. They're just slowing us down anyway.
We need them, Toad. Apocalypse is far too powerful for us to defeat alone. And Charles is right. This infighting will stop, or you will answer to me. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
I'm so relieved that you agree. Charles, you were saying...
Thank you, Eric. Freeing the prisoners will not be an easy task, and battling Apocalypse will be next to impossible. So be on your guard, and good luck to you.
Well, that went as well as can be expected. Jugs, you're not the first man to fall for the redhead, and trust me, you won't be the last. So, back to the mission at hand, we encounter one of the most annoying enemies in the game. No, not the exiles, these bitches. The hounds are one of my least favorite enemies because their attacks can cause a slowness effect, making your movements slower to perform and thus more irritating. After freeing some of the prisoners, one of them has some interesting information to give us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was trapped in there for days. Not really, but he's been running a lot of tests on us.
Kind of. Apocalypse has been testing us for harmonic DNA. I don't know, but Apocalypse was furious that he wasn't finding any.
First of all, fuck you, I'm trying to listen. Secondly, we finally get an inkling of Apocalypse's plans with the mention of harmonic DNA. What he needs it for, of course, we still don't know. I love being able to teleport through things. We find a guy who is being forced to keep up food production for the prisoners, and as a reward for rescuing him, he opens a door with some free XP. After destroying all of the metal boxes, we do some more exploring, dispatch some exiles, free a couple of prisoners, Sunfire can fly now, and Blink lets us know that we've rescued all of the Genoshan prisoners from their cells.
I'm getting out of here!
Blink, good job. You freed the prisoners from their cells. They're safe and sound here at the sanctuary thanks to you. When you get a chance, come back and see me. All the Genoshan prisoners owe you a big thanks.
Well, you're welcome in advance. Thanks to that level up, Nightcrawler gets critical strike. Our next encounter is with Mr. Sinister himself, and he and Nightcrawler will have a special dialogue if he is in your party.
Greetings, Nightcrawler. It is indeed a pleasure to see you.
Mr. Sinister, what in heaven's name are you doing here?
I'm merely gathering up my lab notes. Oh, if only I'd had more time to really indulge myself with the Genoshans.
You monster! How can you experiment on mutants?
Quite easily, really. I love to tinker with nature. Take, for instance, that marvelous teleportation ability of yours. If I were to meld that with the optic ability of Cyclops, who knows what manner of creature might arise?
I do not want to hear your sick schemes. Tell me where Polaris is.
Sorry, Nightcrawler. She's quite valuable to Apocalypse, so she's hidden very far away from here. But I've already said too much. It's time I left.
No, Sinister. Your time is up. You are not getting away from me.
I would love to stay and test that theory, but I really must be going. So you choose. Come after me, or save these test subjects. But we both already know your choice. Goodbye, Nightcrawler.
Sinister set off a trap. We have to save these Genoshans immediately.
Well, that's not foreshadowing at all. So, to the bottom right, we've got 1 minute to save the Genoshans inside the pod. Don't worry, Logan easily takes care of that. Kind of impossible to fail. And this is also one of the few instances of a time limit being placed, so don't expect many of these. The Genoshans give us a tip about Sinister having a ship docked somewhere, but we don't know where. They thank us for the rescue, and we continue on our journey. In the Grand Hall, we are surrounded by more exiles, take care of them, and head to the door on the right to find a body tech station. I give it to Wolverine, and because we've got Gambit, he and Pyro will have a special conversation in the room just across from us.
Hey, what are you doing here, Gambit? You're an X-Man. Well, you know me, Pyro. I'm always turning up just where you don't expect me. Yeah, right. Say, I don't suppose you could help a fella mutant out, eh? I'm really in a lot of pain here. Ooh, that do indeed look like it hurt. But I gotta ask you, friend, how come you wind up in this predicament, huh? This really isn't the time to be playing 20 questions, mate. We gotta move quick. The boss is gonna be back soon. Who this boss man you talking about? Apocalypse, huh? Nah, Apocalypse took off a couple of hours ago, but he left one of his horsemen in charge, a bloke named Abyss. And believe you me, Abyss is one seriously scary character. Now would you please get me out of this bloody contraption? Well, I suppose I might. Now don't you go running off while I'm taking me a little look around, yeah?
After talking to the Aussie, we break him out by destroying both of these generators. The noise causes some guards to wait at the entrance, but on another note, Pyro thanks us for saving him.
I suppose I should thank you for saving me, but what in blazes is an X-Man doing here? Oh, well in that case, keep out of my way and we'll get along just fine.
We can question Pyro even further by asking him why exactly he was being tortured.
Well, you know me. Always standing up for our people. Guess I was getting in Apocalypse's face too much.
I don't know about that.
Sure he does! I was telling Apocalypse he better not mistreat anyone, and he better make sure everyone has enough food and medical attention, and other important stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
You bet your bottom dollar it is. And the next thing I know, I'm being tortured as an example to the others. I'm a real hero, I am.
You, sir, are a liar.
No, I'm not. It's the honest truth.
Bullshit.
Okay, maybe I was kinda working for Apocalypse after he took over.
Of course.
Yeah, but I got tired of his constant yammering on about survival of the fittest. So I swiped some tech bits from his vault and I made a dash for it.
Careful, Pyro. Your levels of in it are showing.
But now I'm back with the Brotherhood 110%. And I'm here to stay.
Whatever. He gives us a small warning not to mess with Abyss, really hyping him up, and he tags along.
Yeah, he took off a couple of hours ago. Left one of his horsemen in charge. Abyss. He's one nasty bloke. You ever see him? You give him a wide berth.
Right outside is another really annoying enemy type, these Watchers. Luckily, we took care of them quickly, but if given the chance, they slam the ground with energy, causing a pop-up effect. And it's irritating because they are basically a mini zealot, and there are many more further ahead. Hey look, Firebirds, courtesy of Pyro. Worship is an interesting ability. It reduces the cost of EP of all mutant abilities for everyone in your party. That sounds nice, but it's incredibly exhausting on EP. Plus, 10% is really not a whole lot, so I put it into something else. Sunfire gets ionized, which gives him resistances to energy, fire, electricity, radiation, and melee. Wolverine unlocks Bloodlust. It's the same as Feral Slash, except instead of doing instant damage, it causes bleed damage over time. With the final guards decimated, we go to open the door, but Pyro stops us and has a unique conversation with Sunfire.
Sunfire? As one fire mutant to another? I'm telling you, you don't want to go that way.
Why, Pyro? Is this not the direction to Abyss?
Yes, it is! And that's precisely why you don't want to be headed that way! The guy's a bloody lunatic!
But that is why we came here, why we fought so many battles. We must face Abyss and defeat him so that Genosha can be freed.
Genosha can fend for itself, mate. Don't go getting yourself killed over it!
I do not understand. Do you not want to aid your people in their time of need?
Look, I know you're into the whole honor thing, but the Brotherhood operates under a much different principle. Usually the pursuit of money and power.
But other members of your team are here. They are willing to fight Abyss.
The other members of my team haven't seen Abyss in action. If they had, they'd be heading out just like I am. See you later, maybe.
Well, cowards are gonna cower, so what can you expect? At least he's nice enough to help us hold off the hordes of enemies while the door takes a millennium to open. The moment we enter the next area, Pyro is gone, and from now on, if you see these pink extraction points, which only let you switch party members, along with this motif, you'll know you're in for a boss fight. So through the door we go, and we come face to face with Abyss.
This is the best Magneto could do? Team up with the X-Men? Oh, forgive me, but even you have to admit, it's laughable. If only Apocalypse were here to see how brave you are in the face of certain death. He found what he was looking for, so he left. Oh my, you have been busy. Yes, he found a mutant with harmonic DNA. And the funny thing is, of all the mutants in Genosha, only Quicksilver had it. Oh, indeed he is. But right now, you have bigger concerns, namely, me.
You know, I'm surprised Quentin Flynn hasn't been asked to voice the Joker. That man has some range in his voice. The fact that I couldn't tell it was him as Tatsumaru in Tenchu 3 should be enough proof, but back to the issue at hand. Abyss was yet another hurdle for me to overcome as a child. If I somehow got past a Death Strike, I got stuck on this asshole. His two melee hits are Gum Gum Bazooka and Gum Gum Pistol. He can also create an energy shockwave that blasts you back, and his most annoying ability by far is this one right here. He manipulates the gravity in the area and makes your whole party fly around for a bit before bunching you all together and blasting you back. Sometimes he doesn't even do the whole zero gravity thing and just tosses you into the air. More funny than annoying, so I'll give him props for that. Other than that zero G ability, just hit him enough times until he runs away. We are given a timer of 1 minute to board the ship, otherwise it counts as a game over. So we continue our pursuit aboard the blimp.
You fools certainly are determined to get yourselves killed. Well then, come along, and I'll try to accommodate you.
Alright, Nils, round 2. Abyss is actually a little bit easier this time because he can't use his zero gravity ability. It doesn't take long for him to jump the blimp, and a health bar appears with the text, vulnerable to bombs, giving us a clue. Abyss immediately starts chucking bombs our way, and it's not hard to put 2 and 2 together. We need to throw bombs back at Abyss's blimp while his minions try to attack us. A couple of bombs later, his blimp sustains enough damage and is forced to hop back onto ours. He still can't do zero G, but his minions somewhat make up for it. Somewhat because it's still relatively easy. After the final blow is delivered, Abyss pulls one last trick up his sleeve and traps us in his body, which is basically a separate dimension. While on that subject, in the main Earth 616 universe, Nils Steiger is the half-brother of Nightcrawler. Pretty cool, eh? There is also another character named Abyss, but that's an entirely different character. Back to the game, we are inside Abyss, which consists of 2 floors. Our team then gets the idea of arming the bombs that Abyss absorbed earlier, blowing him up from the inside. I'm just gonna assume that Abyss is tanky enough to not be killed by this, but rather get knocked out. The plan isn't without some obstacles, as we need to destroy the 4 energy demons that are tethered to the shields around the bombs. With the demons taken care of and all 4 bombs armed, they all blow up within Abyss. And we somehow didn't get hurt by the explosion. Don't worry, he's just sleeping. Look, it's even confirmed he's not dead. The professor gives us a call and congratulates us.
An exemplary job. With Abyss out of the way, the rest of Apocalypse's guards should be no trouble. Once you've finished, return to me at the Sanctuary. Then we can travel to the X-Mansion and begin our search for Polaris. We must discover where Apocalypse is holding her prisoner.
Right then, yoink. Back at the Sanctuary, Blink thanks us again for freeing Genosha. Oh, and remember when I unlocked the secret bonus area for getting all of the homing beacons? Well, now's as good a time as any to tackle it. Alright, there's a weird thing in the middle, and we gotta get to it. So at hallway number 1, we are barely at a level where we can hurt these guys. Look at this, man. Hallway number 2 is the first time I've actually struggled, because fuck these guys and their green energy slams. Not to mention, for some reason, they become health sponges. The jump in difficulty for these special areas is insane. After a little more effort, I finally take them down, turn the switch switch and proceed to hallway number 3. Okay, these aren't so bad. At least they didn't take forever to kill. With the force field down, one final challenge awaits us. A Titan, which is invulnerable unless you perform a specific combo. In this case, the stun combo, which I failed to do several times. Now, I'm going off of memory, but I don't remember seeing these enemy types too often, which is a shame because they really are different to your average enemy type. Nonetheless, with his invincibility frames down, he's as easy as any other enemy. And our prize is Iron Man's gauntlets. Alright, cat's out of the bag. Yep, as if the outline wasn't obvious enough, the third secret character is Iron Man. Alright, that was a nice little challenge. So, after we teleported back to camp, I took a look at my character sheet, and Wolverine unlocks a new move, an extreme move. Extremes are basically ultimate moves for your characters. Each character has 2 extremes, and you can only unlock them once a character reaches level 15. Logan's extreme is Berserker Fury, one of the most damaging extremes in the game, second only to Nightcrawler's. More on that later. With extremes in our pocket, a blue bar appears at the bottom center of the screen. This is the extreme bar. Yeah, in order to somewhat balance this, you can't spam extremes with EP. From now on, enemies will drop extreme points, which slowly fill the bar. The more extremes you have, the more blocks you're able to fill. Right then, Professor, I think I've spent more than enough time here.
Honestly, Charles, I don't mind if everyone is helping out with relief in Genosha. An empty mansion means I can concentrate on locating Apocalypse's base.
Understood. Have a pleasant evening, Beast.
And you as well, Charles.
I had come here for the Xavier protocols, but I can make use of you as well. Let's get to the sub-basement. We can deal with our new pet later. You'll be blind without Cerebro, Xavier.
Apocalypse has indeed grown bold. For him to march into the X-Mansion and kidnap Beast is incomprehensible. I'm afraid so. All the equipment we've grown to rely upon has been destroyed, most notably Cerebro. But all that can be replaced. Right now, our primary concern is the return of Beast. If he hadn't had the forethought to scrawl "The Savage Land" on the floor of the X-Mansion, we'd have no idea where to look. All that will be explained in time. For the moment, just know that this settlement is called Avalon. It's located in a vast, untamed country known as the Savage Land. When you get a chance, introduce yourselves to our host, Kazar.
Of utmost importance, you should speak with Pyro. He is concerned as to the whereabouts of Mystique. Good luck to you.
Okay, I have several questions. Why was Beast at the X-Mansion? He was with us in Genosha. Did Blink teleport him there? If so, why wasn't that made clear to us? Inconsistencies aside, let's give Nightcrawler Master of Chaos. This is the most broken and most damaging extreme in the entire game, where Wolverine's Berserker Fury creates an arc of damaging slashes and can clear most of the room. Master of Chaos basically clears the entire room. I also took the time to switch out Logan for Rogue. Now, so far, all of the characters I've chosen were pretty solid. Rogue is the first one that sucks. Harden is just a basic defense buff, nothing special. Flight is a little more useful. Bedazzle is dog water because no encounter lasts long enough for this to take effect. Against bosses, the debuff is so inconsequential that it hardly feels like it's doing anything. As cool as Power Theft sounds, it's not that great. Not every enemy has a power you can steal, otherwise it's just a stun, and even when you do steal a power, it hardly does any real damage. So for now, I just put all my points into her smash ability, a basic punch with a knockback enchantment, and critical strike. While I'm here, I might as well level up some of my characters. Cyclops gets mutant mastery and tactics. This is just a basic defense buff, but at least it affects the entire party. Juggernaut gets brutal blitz, it's just a short-range twirl, Satirak shield, a Walmart version of Jean Grey's mental vortex, and precision, a basic attack buff. The professor reminds us that we need to work with the Brotherhood, even though they are pricks. Nonetheless, we introduce ourselves to Kazar. He's basically Marvel's Tarzan.
Welcome to the Savage Land. My name is Kazar. You couldn't have come at a better time. It's just too bad you had to bring someone like Magneto with you.
Alright, and why do you hate the Brotherhood? There's a number of reasons, but what's yours?
Magneto and the Brotherhood visited us several years back. Several years ago, Magneto came to the Savage Land and genetically altered some of the natives. He gave them superhuman powers. He sought to use them as an army, to put all of the Savage Land under his control.
You'd think something like that would be Sinister's MO, but no, that actually did happen. With Beast gone, Forge takes over as our merchant, and he functions the same as him, very little difference. Then we speak to Pyro, and he has some intriguing information for us.
Hey, X-Man! I don't know if you saw, but as soon as we landed in the Savage Land, Mystique spoke to Kazar and then headed into the jungle. If anyone in our little group needs watching, it's her. Mystique's a great one for switching sides. But anyway, she's been gone a long time. I was thinking someone ought to go into the jungle canal and track her down. You should use that computer by Xavier if you want a full mission briefing.
It's been a while since we had one of those.
Welcome to the Savage Land. I trust you're familiarizing yourselves with the area.
Oh yeah. It's got raptors, pterodactyls, and pythons as big as cars. Real cozy place. And we think Beast might be here?
Yeah. In the rubble of the X-Mansion, I found a message scratched into the wooden floor. It read, Savage Land.
I don't know. Sounds kind of fishy to me.
I had no idea you were such a pansy, Wolverine. But I guess that's why you talk so much and fight so little.
That does it. You're dead meat.
Wolverine, think of Polaris.
Right. Yeah, we need these jerks to find her. But once this truce is over, you and me are gonna have a little chat, Juggernaut.
Anytime you want, short stuff.
Let me know when you're going to have this conversation, Wolverine. I may want to talk with Juggernaut as well.
Charles, what is our first order of business here in the Savage Land?
A short time ago, Mystique left to search the jungles for a mutant named Destiny. She recently took up residence in the Savage Lands. Apparently, neither woman has been heard from in quite some time.
Do you suspect Mystique is up to something?
With her, there's always that possibility, but right now I'm merely concerned for her safety. Pyro followed her as far as the jungle canal. Search that area and see what you can find.
Don't worry, Charles. We'll make certain Mystique's all right, and discover what mischief she's up to.
Very good. Until we meet again.
Well then, let's not waste any time. We get to the jungle canal where Mystique was last seen, and we begin our search. Just a few steps into the jungle, Mystique shows. Well, mission complete, I guess. She and Rogue will have a special conversation, and it's the only reason I got her in my party.
Well, if it isn't my former protege, how are you doing, Rogue? Stabbed anyone in the back lately?
Hello, Mystique. Bitter as ever, I see. But if anyone has the right to be mad, it's me. You talked me into joining the Brotherhood when I was nothing but a kid.
I tried to open your eyes to a much bigger world, but you had to grow a conscience and scurry off to join the X-Men. I just don't understand it.
I know you don't understand, and that's the real pity. But this is no time to be dredging up past history. Why don't you just tell me what you're doing sneaking around the jungle?
If you must know, I'm looking for a dear friend of mine. Her name is Destiny.
What's a friend of yours doing in the Savage Land?
She foresaw that Apocalypse would attack Genosha, so she came here to escape the war.
Your buddy Destiny can tell the future? That's a pretty powerful mutant ability. I can see why you'd want to be friends with her.
Why must everyone suspect me of having ulterior motives? I know my having a friend sounds odd. Even I have trouble believing it. But Destiny is my one true friend.
All right. Don't go getting all teary-eyed on me. Have a little self-control, would you? How about you come along with us and we'll all go looking for her?
Thanks, Rogue, but I'd sooner walk on hot coals. I'm going off in one direction while you're heading off in another. That way we'll cover more ground. Now get out of my way!
You ain't gotta be so rude about it. Anyways, the first enemy we encounter are June beetles. I hate those goddamn things. Amidst the chaos, I find a challenge disc for Cyclops. It's at this point that we start to encounter some reskinned enemies, and normally that'd bother me, but I was having too much fun to care. Get a data disc, get ambushed, Rogue is useless, gets carried by Iceman, get ambushed again, Rogue is not so useless for once, find a yellow homing beacon, and we get trapped by vines that sprout out of the ground.
You fools! Apocalypse spoke of you so highly, yet you were easy to trap. I am Garok, god of the sun, here in the Savage Lands. I've not found her yet, but when I do, she'll make a fitting present for Apocalypse. And in return, he will aid me in my conquest of the Savage Land.
Don't pat yourself on the back just yet, Garok.
What is the meaning of this?
You're free! Together we can defeat Garok.
Well, not even 10 minutes in, and we've got our first boss fight, Garok, the so-called God of the Sun. His arsenal is a little lackluster. It consists of a basic punch and a little energy beam that actually packs a bit of a punch. He can also teleport away, which will knock you down if you're near him. It's also the only thing you really gotta watch out for, because it's his most damaging move. During this battle, I ran out of health potions, making this fight that much harder. After all of 2 minutes, Garok goes down, but my party has seen better days, clearly. But at least we found Destiny and can finally get the hell out of here. Before I go back to Avalon to lick my wounds, I can't help but give Iceman Cold Mastery, which adds cold damage on top of the cold damage I'm already dishing out. Angel then informs us that there is an army gathering around the Savage Land on Apocalypse's orders, and it unlocks a mission briefing. Before that, however, we can talk to an imprisoned Garok. You know, I kinda wish they did this with all the bosses. It would be pretty cool to talk shit to someone like Zealot, maybe even throw in another special dialogue if you talk to him as Magneto. Wasted potential aside, we can speak with Mystique, and she basically gives us a free level to the wrong character. That's on me. I should have switched out Rogue before this, but damage already done. Moving on, we get a full briefing on the atmospheric generators around the Savage Land.
Greetings. It seems we have a situation that requires your immediate attention. While scouting the area, Angel discovered a small army preparing to destroy the atmospheric generators for the Savage Land.
Excuse my ignorance, Professor. What are atmospheric generators?
They are highly advanced equipment left behind by aliens long ago. The generators are what create the Savage Land's tropical environment.
But if those generators are destroyed, this entire area will be plunged back into the Antarctic temperatures that surround it.
Mein Gott, this is terrible. Thousands would freeze to death in a matter of hours.
Good heavens. Who would do something so vile?
Unknown. There's some speculation they are the forces of a horseman of apocalypse.
Well, we whipped the last one's butt in Genosha. Who's horseman number 2?
That is also unknown.
Why do you people bother having these little briefing soirees when all you do is raise more questions?
They ask these questions so that when we're out in the field, we know what to look for.
Thanks, Wanda. Now it makes complete sense. Go ahead. Keep talking, Chuck.
As I was saying, a small army is about to attack the atmospheric generators.
And you would like us to stop them before they can bring into Ice Age to the Savage Land?
Yes, and perhaps you could question them for information that would lead us to Beast.
Oh, I am certain we'll be able to find time to ask them for the whereabouts of our friend.
Very good. Until we meet again.
Right, first order of business. Rogue, get the fuck out of here.
Number 10, you're fired.
So our first steps into the jungle, and we see some ogres destroying a generator. Angel radios in to remind us of our mission, and we're set free to battle our way to each generator. On the way, we find a second yellow homing beacon. These next few parts are just a matter of go here, fight a set amount of enemies, move on to the one next door. Rinse and repeat. Do this like 3 times, and we interrogate the last henchman, Petrovich, about Apocalypse's presence in the Savage Land, as well as where they are holding Beast.
I will tell you nothing. Mikhail would kill me.
Professor?
Very well, but does he understand the process is extremely painful, and it could damage his long-term memory?
No, wait! I will tell you everything.
Thank you.
He is being held prisoner in an ancient underground Nuvali temple. But it cannot be reached on foot, and you cannot use your X-jet. We have hidden surface-to-air rocket launchers everywhere.
You know, I always wondered why this one random Russian soldier was named, so I looked it up. It turned out to be a can of worms. There's like 3 people named Petrovich, so fuck trying to figure out which one this guy is. For now, however, we'll go back to Avalon and have a full briefing on the jungle passage.
We now have confirmation there is a horseman of apocalypse here at the Savage Land.
What is his name, Professor Xavier?
Mikhail Rasputin.
No, not my brother, Mikhail.
I'm afraid so, Colossus.
So you got a black sheep in the family too, huh, comrade? Well, don't feel so bad. My stepbrother's an embarrassment to me.
Quiet, Juggernaut. Can't you see Colossus is in pain?
Thank you, Wanda. You are very kind.
Hey, what about my pain, Wanda? I feel very bad for poor old Colossus.
Professor Xavier, how did my brother come to be a horseman of apocalypse?
I don't know, but we must be extremely cautious. Mikhail is a force to be reckoned with. But there is good news. We know for certain Beast is here, but he's inside a buried temple.
A temple we can't walk to because there's no path. And we can't fly there because Mikhail's put automated surface-to-air missiles everywhere. We'll never get there.
That's not entirely true. Shana has informed me there may be a path to this temple, but it's in a particularly hazardous section of the jungle.
Uh-huh. Is anyone else not thrilled at hearing this is a particularly hazardous section of the jungle?
Sauron, an enemy of Khazar, dwells in this area of the jungle. We're not certain, but it must be assumed he has joined Mikhail's forces.
So you think there might be a trap waiting for us?
Most likely, but we have little choice. It is our only path to Beast. Be careful, and good luck to you all.
Anyways, Iceman gets Ice Slide, which allows him to fly forward. It's not true flight like Jean Grey's, but hey, if I can cover ground faster, I'll take it. That's how I've always used this skill. You can use it as an attack, but I don't. Jean gets Telekinetic Net, which helps her avoid ranged attacks. I give this health station to Iceman, but honestly, I should have given it to Juggernaut. Through the jungle pass, I show off the Ice Slide ability, which you can use by double jumping. I love this ability. Look how much ground I can cover. Yeah, it eats away at my EP, but I only need 1 point in it. After a failed ambush, Jean Grey mysteriously died while I wasn't paying attention. We continued traveling further into the jungle, passing through a cave system, and eventually we reached the Nuwali Temple, guarded by a fierce enemy of Khazar.
I've already told Apocalypse I'm not interested in joining him. Why does he send lackeys to try and persuade me? Ah, I heard they were at Avalon. So, you must be friends of Khazar. This is delicious. I owe Khazar so much for the many times he's thwarted my plans. Killing you will be most pleasurable.
As much as I'd like to call him Sauron, the second Dark Lord from the Lord of the Rings, it's actually pronounced Sauron, probably for the best. Actually, he named himself that because of Lord of the Rings, fun fact. So anyway, Sauron is a giant humanoid pteranodon that steals life energy, which is what those purple energy balls are doing. His pattern is quite simple, and unless you've got a ranged character, good luck trying to hit him while he's in the air. To land, he'll dive down beak first on your face to break his fall, and now he is vulnerable to your entire party. While on the ground, his only attack is a beak strike, but the move you really gotta watch out for is his roar, because it will hurt and stun lock you. And that's the most annoying part about this boss fight. He will then take to the skies again to repeat the process. That's the entirety of this boss fight. No other tricks involved, and for the first boss that can fly, I'm a little disappointed. If his purple orbs actually stole your health, that might have been a decent challenge. You know, do more damage to him faster than he can steal your health. After we take care of Sauron, we step into the Nuwali Temple and get a call from Shana, Khazar's wife.
There should be a door that leads to the inner chambers. That most likely is where they're keeping Beast. But I would warn you, the door requires 2 keys to open. They're probably hidden somewhere in the temple.
Alright, a treasure hunt it is, and new enemies. Shifters just throw purple energy balls and die as quickly as the rest. I take the left path and am greeted by a group of infinites. They will be relevant to the story later, so hold on to that factoid for now. These guys are just juiced up mercenaries with super soakers that squirt beams of orange juice. After a few waves of that, copying a tech station, and walking into a small chasm with an interactable in the middle, we get a foreboding omen that we shouldn't pick up this keystone. I take the hint and therefore do not take the keystone. I'll reveal why in a moment. I navigate this corridor, fight my way through a wall and past some enemies, and step on a pressure plate that opens the gate in front of me. making it safe to pick up the keystone. If you don't do this beforehand, then invisible energy demons will descend into the chasm and attack you. In the next area, Iceman nearly bites the dust because I recklessly charged in without thinking, but thankfully Juggernaut was the MVP. I get another data disk. I swear I'm gonna miss at least one of these at some point. Juggernaut gets Saturak's Folly, which allows whatever physical damage he receives to have a 15% chance of turning into EP, and of course, this percentage gets higher the more you invest in it. Iceman gets the Cold Snap Extreme. It's basically just a radial freeze beam. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does hold multiple enemies in place for a while, and distant enemies are slowed. After battling my way through the temple and getting somewhat lost, I decided to switch my team up a bit. Nightcrawler, it's been fun, but I'm gonna switch you out with Logan. We find the Nuwali Gateway and consult Shana on our next move.
That's a Nuwali gateway. It requires 2 keys. They're probably scattered somewhere in the Nuwali temple.
Okay, so this is the gateway that we need to use the keys on, and we already have one, so we just need to find the other one. I'd say it shouldn't be too hard, but I did get lost a few times, and maybe I just have a shit sense of direction, but that is one minor critique I have with the Legends games, and later the MUA games. It's very easy to get lost. After a bit of exploring, I managed to find the Nuwali corridors, and we are contacted by Kazar himself.
I'm sorry to bother you in the middle of your mission, but I just discovered Mikhail has stolen my father's cache of antimetal. It is a material that can cut through any known metal. If Mr. Sinister got his hands on it, he would figure out some way to replicate it. That is exactly what I was thinking. You must find where Mikhail has hidden the antimetal in the Nuwali temple. Return it to me, and I will make sure no one ever finds it again.
Fun fact, this antimetal also goes by another name, Antarctic Vibranium. It's called that because it does the opposite of what Wakandan Vibranium does, which is to absorb kinetic energy. Yoink this, go back to Avalon, and get a full briefing on the cache of antimetal.
Our host Kazar has recently informed me a cache of antimetal has been stolen.
Antimetal? What the heck is that?
Isn't it an element that's able to destroy any known metal?
Correct. Antimetal was what brought Kazar's father to the Savage Land and eventually led to Kazar being stranded here.
Most impressive, Wanda. You are as intelligent as you are lovely.
Why, thank you, Colossus.
Hey! What's going on here? I mean, if you look past the fact Colossus is big and handsome and rugged, what's he got that I ain't got?
It is indeed mind-blowing, isn't it, Toad?
So, Charles, what is it that Kazar wants us to do?
He believes the antimetal was stolen by Mikhail's forces. He would like you to search the Nuwali temple and see if you can find it and return it to him. Kazar does not want it to fall into Apocalypse's hands.
If Mr. Sinister were able to replicate it, the results would be disastrous.
Apocalypse's army would be unstoppable. No bank or military installation would be safe.
Not to mention what it would do to an adamantium-laced skeleton like yours, mein guter Freund.
Antimetal sounds extremely dangerous, Charles. We'll find it and return it to Kazar.
Very well then. Be on your way.
So back at the Nuwali corridors we go, we get a new enemy type, the Sinister Scouts. These guys aren't anything special, they just throw spikes at you. We find the second and final keystone we need to access the Nuwali Gateway. The only problem is that we get the same foreboding omen as the last one, so I don't grab it yet. I make my way around to find a switch this time, and we are ambushed by hunters from Resident Evil. I like how they even kinda look like them. Moving on, we need to get over this pit. Luckily for me, I can clear it with Jean Grey. Pull the lever, and now it is safe to get the keystone. Before we leave, we take a detour to the Elemental Tomb to grab the cache of antimetal for Kazar.
Well done, my friends. I have been told the vibranium is located somewhere in that area, but be careful. It will be very well guarded.
So let the treasure hunt begin. This part isn't too difficult, but if you don't have someone in your party who can fly, then you are soft-locked from completing this objective. This first room is a perfect example of that. Each time we take a skull from the pedestals, we'll be ambushed by hunters. The next skull is the Earth Skull, which is just surrounded by rocks. No problem for Logan. Next up is the Water Skull, which just needs a bridge to get over. You could also fly if you so wished. Challenge disc for Gambit, Iceman takes care of the Fire Skull's defenses, and now we need to place each skull on a pedestal in a room across the way, and we get the idol. Kazar thanks us for a job well done and tells us to return to him when we can, and so we shall at a later time. Back at the Nuwali Gateway, we place the final keystone, open the gate, and the professor tells us to speak with Destiny about some visions she has been having. This opens up the mission briefing about rescuing Beast and further speculation on Destiny's vision.
Destiny had a most disturbing vision of the future. It spoke of the death of Beast, a victory by Apocalypse, and your having been betrayed by a teammate.
Telling the future's a bunch of hogwash. Nobody really knows what's gonna happen. At least not with me, they don't.
I don't know about that, Wolverine. Down in New Orleans, I seen plenty of people do it. And they's usually right.
But she's talking about Beast dying. It can't be true.
Rogue, I made the mistake of ignoring her predictions and lost Genosha because of it.
Admittedly, this is disconcerting, but her predictions don't currently impact us. We are still planning on rescuing Beast.
But what if he croaks because we try to save him? Maybe he'd be fine if we just leave him be.
You know better than that, Cajun. We can't leave Beast in the hands of Apocalypse.
You right. We gotta risk it.
Oh, what about her prediction of one of us ratting the others out? Ain't we gonna do something about that?
An interesting point, Toad. But what would you have us do?
How should I know? You're the one with the big brain. You figure it out.
All we can do is be vigilant and report anything out of the ordinary.
Oh, I intend on keeping both eyes wide open for trouble.
Very well then. Godspeed.
As we continue into the Nuwali Sanctum with this vision in mind, we fight our way through the halls and find an extraction point. Here, I take the chance to swap out Juggernaut with Magneto, and he gets Shrapnel Sentry, one of his best damaging moves. It basically throws down some metallic landmines, very useful for dealing with crowds. He also gets Metallic Deflection, which gives him a percentage chance to block incoming projectile attacks. I also switch out Iceman for Pyro, one of the PC character exclusives. Pyro is kinda just a reskinned Sunfire. There are a few abilities that are unique to him, but the rest he shares with Sunfire. Burn does the same thing as Ignite, Fire Charge is the same thing as Atomic Charge, Fire Bats is one of the few moves that only Pyro can do, so hey, that's pretty cool. His passives are also the same, with just a different name. Moving further into the Sanctum, we are halted by Omega Red.
Searching for Beast, are you? You'll never get to him in time. Working for Apocalypse. He has promised me my own domain to rule in his new world order. But I would have done it for free, had I known I would get the chance to crush worms like you. To decipher the symbols on these walls, it took quite a bit of persuasion. But in the end, he did as he was commanded. The previous scientist for Apocalypse was slow in providing the translations. His employment was terminated in a most unpleasant way. His task is completed, so Beast is no longer of use. He is to meet the same fate as the translator before him. And speaking of terminations, your time has come, my friends.
You know, it seems like a missed opportunity to have a unique dialogue between Omega Red and Wolverine, since the two do have some history. Anyways, Omega Red is actually one of the few bosses that doesn't feel like a health sponge. He takes decent enough damage, and as far as his attacks go, a Twirl, which is still inferior to Deathstrike's version, a Tentacle Punch, a Health Zap, at least I think that's what this is, but nonetheless, he is arguably the easiest boss in the game due to how little health he has. With Omega Red out of the picture, the portal to Mikhail's ship opens up and we step through it. When we first step in, we are greeted by some nameless guards who seem to love talking shit.
They have made it much further than expected.
Indeed, I would have thought Omega Red would have finished them off.
Omega Red was always a bit overconfident.
I really don't understand why they gave a bunch of nobodies a cutscene, but whatever. After dealing with them, we progress further into the ship, and I switch out Pyro for Sabretooth. And like Pyro before him, he shares the same abilities as Wolverine. Except this time, Sabretooth has no abilities that are unique to him. He's literally just a reskinned Logan. Maybe they could have taken some inspiration from the comics and made his healing factor stronger than Wolverine's, since he doesn't have an adamantium skeleton. But then I guess everyone would use him over Wolverine. But how about this? Make both heal equally equally as fast, with Sabretooth being a little bit faster, but Logan does more damage. I don't know, I'm not a game designer, I'm just an idiot spitballing some ideas. Anyways, with our team set up, we are finally face to face with Mikhail Rasputin.
You almost disrupted a very important mission. Luckily, I succeeded, and now you are too late. Apocalypse's plans are in motion. I sincerely doubt that. Dr. McCoy, he has ceased to be of use to me. Even if I were inclined to do as you say, it is too late. He is already dead. This angers you. That is good, because you will need that anger if you ever hope to defeat me.
Once again, shame that there is no unique interaction between him and Colossus, which is why I didn't take him. Back to the matter at hand, Mikhail will shoot lasers that can knock you down, become invulnerable, and clone himself, rinse and repeat. The trick is to defeat the main body before he overwhelms you with sheer numbers. But because I'm me, I immediately lost him. But it turns out he was just hiding in the corner. When we move on to Phase 2, Mikhail has placed numerous force fields around him and the surrounding terminals, maintaining them morph into enemies. We have to defeat each enemy while they are on the platform and activate all 4 to take down the force fields. Once we take one down, a laser will appear and will make laps around the whole room. If you get hit, it will hurt a shit ton and knock you down. With the second one down, another laser appears. See, this is how you do a proper boss fight. I got 2 things to worry about, the lasers and getting the enemies to die on the platform. Taking lessons from God of War. We take down the 3rd force field and the laser is moving much faster than the other 2, which does add some difficulty. We take down the final force field and Phase 3 is the same as Phase 1, except now Mikhail has a bullshit Matrix slow-mo ability, taking a crack at each one of my party members. At least he doesn't clone himself this time, but even so, he spams that Matrix ability so damn much at this phase. Mikhail isn't even that hard to beat, it just takes longer than it should. When he gets down to less than half health, he will spawn in some rangers to help him, and with that Matrix ability, his minions actually stand a good chance of dealing some damage. After an arduous battle, we manage to take down Mikhail and rush to wherever Beast is being held. Down this long hallway, Beast is being gassed by Natasha Korvich, a character who we never see again past this point. I tried looking her up, but I kept getting results for Black Widow, so maybe this was supposed to be a Black Widow cameo or something, who knows. So the fake Black Widow runs off and we destroy the chamber's controls, freeing Beast. Hank thanks us for the rescue, and that is a mission accomplished. Beast tells us that while imprisoned, he was forced to transcribe some Nuwali symbols for Apocalypse, and discover that they were blueprints for a machine. What it does, we don't know. He believes it has something to do with Polaris and Quicksilver, but nothing concrete yet. In the meanwhile, I head back to Avalon. The professor informs us that with Mikhail out of the way, the Savage Land is safe and we can focus directly on Apocalypse, and we relocate to an old Weapon X facility in the Canadian wilderness. Before that, however, I take this chance to give Jean Grey her extreme ability, From the Ashes, which allows her to revive one teammate who has died. Then I head into the bonus area for the Savage Land, deal with some fairly high-level goons, one of which ends up being quite the health sponge, and pick up Iron Man's chest plate. From here on, I decided on leveling up some of my characters. Cyclops gets Defense Grid, which helps him avoid projectile attacks. Gambit gets Evade, which does the same thing as Uncanny Reflexes. He also gets Ace of Spades, which is his version of Magneto's Shrapnel Sentry. Moving on to Toad, he gets Mutant Mastery, Spit Mastery, his Extreme, Tongue Whip, which is a full 360-degree attack with his tongue, which can also regenerate EP. Mucus Spit, an ability that allows him to projectile vomit on his enemies, and Tongue Strike, an instant attack that can stun. Bishop is yet another interesting case. He's sort of a Gambit and Rogue hybrid. I'll show you what I mean. Absorption is a pretty good ability, but it takes a lot of EP, but at least it's guaranteed to work. Plasma Blaster is only worth it for full auto. Sapping Strike is only useful for one puzzle and useless against enemies. Gun Mastery, for obvious reasons, and Energy Fury, a party-wide boost to deal extra energy damage. I also take this chance to do some training in the Danger Room, and a few sessions later, I get a couple of goodies like Cyclops' Accelerated Visor, which gives him an increase in attack and movement speed. With all of the characters I care to grind, we can move on to the Weapon X facility.
HQ, this is Red 7 on patrol. We got a heavy storm front coming up. Other than that, all's quiet. Wait a minute. We got bogeys, hundreds of them. HQ, what are my orders?
shall bear witness to my greatness. I hold their leaders powerless, and their mightiest city is under my control. Soon, I will show this world a war, the likes of which has never been seen. I will weed out the weak and inferior, so that only the strong survive.
Greetings. You've no doubt noticed the old Weapon X facility is our latest headquarters. I find it every bit as discomforting as you, but we have limited options. Precisely. Apocalypse's invasion of New York City was incredibly swift, and the attack coincided with a number of high-ranking leaders mysteriously falling into comas. No, and the situation is quickly growing worse. Department H reports that Apocalypse is planning attacks on major cities around the world. We cannot allow that. Therefore, our primary objective will be to disable his military infrastructure. At the moment, we know of two facilities important to Apocalypse's war machine: the Core and the Infinite Factory. For more information on these locations, please talk to Heather Hudson and Angel. Feel free to familiarize yourself with our new surroundings, but once you've finished, move quickly. The fate of the world may well hang in the balance.
I know this is meant to be an X-Men story, but I don't think other street-level heroes would have taken too kindly to being subjugated by Apocalypse. I always wonder what the hell other heroes like Spider-Man or Luke Cage are doing whenever there is a New York-level threat in some of these stories, X-Men or otherwise. Anyways, Logan, what's up?
Well, ain't this just a cozy getaway?
Oh, right. Forgot. You have some history with this place. He also tells us about Alpha Flight. To sum up who they are, they're basically if you took the Avengers and made them Canadian. What the fuck? Interesting fact about Logan. Remember how I said various members of either the Brotherhood or the X-Men will react differently depending on what character you are controlling? Well, with Wolverine, he seems indifferent or annoyed with the X-Men, whereas he will outright hate any Brotherhood members.
Get the heck away from me, unless you're wanting a taste of adamantium.
I just found it kind of funny how he isn't exactly nice to either faction, but more so the Brotherhood. That aside, we talk to Angel, who tells us about the Core, a nuclear power plant controlled by Apocalypse located in Ontario, Canada. The Core acts as the primary energy source for Apocalypse's army, and we are tasked with destroying it. Out of curiosity, we ask him how he acquired the information about the Core, and he tells us that one Sebastian Shaw, and as evident by the text prompt, Shaw is a member of the Hellfire Club. And in short, they are a bunch of aristocratic mutants who believe they should control the world simply because they are rich. We also caution Angel about taking chances like talking to someone like Shaw, and he gets defensive.
You worry about yourself. I'll be fine.
Alright man, geez, I'm just saying be careful, that's all. Moving on, Heather Hudson tells us about the Infinite Factory where Apocalypse produces rank-and-file soldiers for his armies, courtesy of a supercomputer modeled after Mr. Sinister's intellect. She also gives us a side objective to locate her husband within the factory as he's gone missing. Before anything, I switch out Jean for Logan and get a full briefing on the Infinite Factory.
Thanks to Department H, we have the location of the factory that produces Apocalypse's army.
His army's produced?
Yes. Infinites are clones created from vats of genetic material and then enhanced with cybernetic implants.
Wow. And thousands of those get cranked out every day? It's no wonder Apocalypse had such an easy time attacking New York City and Genosha.
If we were to disable that factory, we'd strike a severe blow to Apocalypse. His unending supply of soldiers would dry up.
So, what's the price?
I beg your pardon?
Department H told us the location. What do they want in return, huh? Money, information, manpower. I know those boys, and they don't work for free.
Is Wolverine always this distrustful?
Bah. It takes him a while to trust someone.
Yeah, usually 4 or 5 years.
Go ahead and make your jokes. But I got plenty of reasons to suspect Department H. I can't tell you the number of times they tried to force me back into their little family.
Department H did make a request of us.
I knew it. I just knew it.
They asked if we could look for James MacDonald Hudson while we were at the factory. He was sent there a while ago to do reconnaissance, and he hasn't been heard from since.
They got James.
We can't be certain.
Then we better get there pronto and find out.
As you wish, Wolverine. Team, the best of luck to you at the Infinite Factory.
With our objective clear, we run into Havoc waiting for us at the X-Jet. If you didn't play Legends 1, you'll be a little confused. Long story short, he's the brother of Cyclops, and in the events of the first game, he was a member of the Brotherhood and actively fought against the X-Men.
Okay, so maybe I helped the Brotherhood for a little while. But I thought it was for the good of mutant kind.
He basically tells us that he will take us wherever we need to go, and our first stop is the Infinite Factory. When we get there, Havoc lets us know we can reach him via the recall transmitter beside us, and just before we set out on our mission, Guardian shows up and has a unique dialogue with Wolverine.
Guardian, if you ain't a sight for sore eyes, what's going on here?
Hello, Wolverine. It's good to see you too. I was sent here to destroy this factory, but they captured me almost as soon as I arrived. Fortunately, things just took a turn for the better. A spy from Department H freed me.
You sure do have a way of keeping your guardian angel busy. But you're hurt, so why don't you head on to the Weapon X facility? We got a camp set up there.
Sorry, Wolverine. I'm staying until this factory is shut down.
I hate to break it to you, bub, but you ain't gonna get far being hurt like that.
You're right. Give me a radio and I'll talk you through the facility. I've had a thorough briefing on it.
Okay, since you're the brains, how do we take this place apart?
There are 3 sections you need to destroy. Fusion core, engineering, and genetic processing. Also, keep an eye out for a security card Department H gave me. I hid it just before I was captured. That card can unlock a number of devices for you.
Okay, I'll look for the card. You be sure and call Heather, alright?
Wolverine, you always were more concerned about Heather's feelings than me when it came to missions. But don't worry, I'll let her know. Now get going.
Not long after we begin our trek into the factory, I decide to read this tip, which will come in handy later, but I go down this hallway and find the security key that Guardian told us about, and I head back around. Here is where that tip comes into play. Some enemies require combos to knock them out of their invulnerable state. There is even a little tip when you're fighting them to remind you that you need to do this. Okay, so Infinites are legitimately no joke. Do not fuck around with these guys. They will kill you if you're not careful. I know they look like chumps in the gameplay footage, but that's just because I invested in good skills and got good characters. If I rocked up here with Rogue and Colossus, I guarantee you I would struggle and probably die, especially later on. In the corner, we meet an undercover agent for Department H who asks a favor of us.
Wait, I am on your side. My name is Robert McKenzie. I am a special agent for Department H. But now I am the one who needs help. I came here to steal the genetic plans Monsieur Sinister developed for the Infinite Soldier, but security has been alerted to my presence. I cannot move without being caught. Très bon. There is a console nearby that contains the information. You should have little trouble finding it.
With this information in mind, the first section we enter is engineering. Here, Guardian radios in and tells us in order to destroy the engineering sector, we have to deactivate the oil pumps, and he even gives us a hint on how to do so.
The only way to damage them would be to overload them with power. You'll have to overdrive the system.
The enemies we'll have to contend with for this entire section is mostly robots. These guys are way tankier and hit way harder than the Infinite Soldiers. Why didn't Apocalypse just have these guys as his infantry? Look at this! He just took out Bishop! Now, that might partially be my fault, but in my defense, I thought I could kill him in time. I go back momentarily to revive him and continue the mission. We find the power distribution console, but we can't use it until the safety override has been turned off. Fuck! Guardian tells us that it should be in the area, but alternatively, we can supercharge a generator, which is where our boy Bishop comes into play. We get the cache next to it first, of course. And then we overload the system, which destroys the pumps, and we can move on to another section. Back at the entrance, I notice a big door. I try to console, but nothing happens. Oh well, I'm sure it won't be important. With Bishop's job completed, I bench him and swap in Magneto and go back to the factory to tackle genetic processing. All we have to do here is destroy the DNA storage tank. You know, maybe I should start taking notes or something when I record gameplay, because I feel like I'm not saying much apart from what's happening on screen, so excuse the poor commentary. After waves upon waves of seemingly never-ending droids, we get to the console and Guardian tells us that there are 2 ways to destroy the tanks. Either we align the conduits or destroy the tanks themselves. Because we have Magneto, we can just use levitation on the conduits and they'll rearrange themselves. I believe the other way was to use Bishop to overload the generators next to the tanks as well. With genetic processing destroyed, we move on to the final section of the factory. the fusion core. Wolverine gets Eviscerate, one of his most powerful abilities, one I will be using for the rest of the game because it is just that powerful. Allow me to demonstrate. The name basically explains itself. We find a console which houses the genetic schematics that Agent McKinsey wanted, so we take them and deliver them to him. Then I bench Mags for Nightcrawler, who gets the Leap of Faith passive ability. This, along with Master of Chaos, makes Nightcrawler one of the most valuable characters in the entire game. Leap of Faith gives the CPU-controlled Nightcrawler a percentage chance to save your allies from death once per minute if they are within 15 feet. The thing that makes it broken is that it starts at 50%, then 75%, and finally 100%. I also take Shadow Master because it's a pretty damn good buff. Back at the factory, the goal is even simpler. Find the core reactor and blow it the fuck up. As we walk down this corridor, I easily manhandle— oh shit! Yeah, the only times it gets somewhat concerning is when they use those energy sapping devices. I don't think those were in the first game. Maybe? I don't know. Someone can correct me. Eventually, we make it to the fusion core, which is being fiercely defended by infinite clones. I take the time to defeat all of them to maximize XP and destroy the fusion core. Back at the entrance, I try the big-ass door again, and it opens, and we're greeted by two giants. How nice of them. Here in the assembly line, we need to destroy the superstations scattered around. The last one is strangely the farthest away from the rest, just past this chamber, but don't worry about that. With the last station destroyed, a locked door back at the chamber opens. We go there, and to no one's surprise, it's a trap! I then find a challenge disc for Sunfire, which will be useful for the grind later. After the battle, Cyclops levels up and he gets his extreme ability, Flawless Tactics. It's basically an XP booster. As we tear through the factory, we reach the central processing sector and come face to face with the sinister AI.
Greetings, foes. Somehow I knew you'd make your way here. You have an uncanny tendency to overcome all obstacles placed in your way.
No, it's just as I warned you. That's not Mr. Sinister. It's the supercomputer based on his intellect.
Is that you, Guardian? A pity those torture sessions were cut short. But he is correct. I am a computer modeled on Sinister's genius, which is why I will be the one to defeat you. But how would you fare against earlier incarnations of the X-Men? With the small exception that if you lose here, you die. I would wish you good luck, but that would be lying.
As the AI said, this boss fight consists of clones of the X-Men, particularly Storm, Iceman, Cyclops, and Wolverine, with Bobby being easily the most annoying since he could freeze you in place. And even after you break out of it, you get a slowness effect. Storm can stun you with lightning strikes, Cyclops can hit you from a distance, and Wolverine hits like a truck. The gimmick here is that the clones will continue to spawn unless you take out the machines spawning them. With their spawn points removed, we take care of the stragglers and blow up the supercomputer. Heather Hudson radios in to congratulate us, and we inform her that her husband, Guardian, is safe and sound. Blink opens a portal and I sell a few things to Forge for some cash, and we move on to get a briefing on the core.
Thanks to the efforts of Angel, we've located Apocalypse's primary source of energy in Ontario, Canada. It's a nuclear power plant known as the core.
So this core is to be our next target?
Yes, Mr. Wagner. Our goal will be to render that facility useless to Apocalypse.
All right, finally we get a fun mission. I ain't never busted up a nuclear power plant before. That ought to make a lot of noise when it goes off.
I'm sorry, Juggernaut, but we have to be a bit more careful than that. Charles is adamant that we avoid a nuclear meltdown.
Don't that sound just like my little brother? Always taking the fun out of everything.
Once the team arrives at the core, Forge will take them through very specific steps to shut down the facility.
Hold on a tick. How do we know this ain't some kind of trap? You know, like Destiny was saying, a team member is gonna betray us.
Are you suggesting Angel would send us into a trap?
Oh, I'm not suggesting it. I'm saying it right out loud. Angel might be handing us over to Apocalypse.
You know, the little guy's got a point.
That is preposterous. Angel would never do such a thing.
But What about that Shaw bloke Angel got the info from? Maybe he's working for Apocalypse, and he's sending us to our doom.
What would you have us do, Toad? Trust no one? Never leave on another mission?
There's a thought.
No, I will not allow us to fall into the trap of second-guessing every action. We're going to the core, and that's final.
Well, that's all good and dandy. Hold on a minute, Mags, I gotta get Juggernaut. Not because of this, but because of this. Path of Destruction is stupid. I mean, it's accurate to the comics, and I have every intention of abusing it, but come on. As per its description, this extreme allows Jugs to one-shot anything, except bosses, which makes sense. I also give him Balanced Form, which makes him tankier and punch faster. Iceman gets Piercing Cold, which gives his freeze beam a chance to pierce through multiple targets. Without further ado, I take my team straight to the core. From here, Forge will guide us on how to destroy the facility. For now, we just need to locate the building's network console and attach a transceiver so that Forge can hack into its mainframe. One of the main enemies we'll face is these hammer dudes who have a chance of stunning you, but they are far from the most annoying enemy in this section. You'll find out who soon enough. I find a blue homing beacon, and as I am scavenging for tech bits, I am attacked by the very enemy I was just talking about, the Undercloakers. Who decided to make them health sponges? Look at this, I'm barely doing anything to them. This is precisely why I brought Juggernaut, but that's not even the worst of it. They can also turn invisible, and then they like to run away like a little bitch. This is also why I brought Iceman for this mission. Well, at least we got a data disk out of it. After we take care of some more goons, we plug into the main console, and Forge tells us to head to the main reactor console, and from there he will tell us what to disable and whatnot, because if we don't do it in a very specific order, it will kill us. I forget if this results in a game over or not, but if memory serves me, we just start taking damage over time for the remainder of the mission, which is not what we want. In the character menu, Cyclops unlocks Fusion Beam, an optic blast that fires a beam of radiation, causing damage over time. I like this move, but there are other beam attacks that are better. Meanwhile, Toad gets Tongue Lash, which is a semi-radial move that knocks enemies upwards. It's more useful if you're surrounded and want to get some breathing room. After getting this speed tech station, I get the worst gotcha pull of my life. An Undercloaker with radiation. Ah, f*** you, whoever designed this enemy. From here, I take a moment to go back to base and get a piece of gear for Iceman, which can be acquired from the Danger Room. The cryogenic booster gives Iceman plus 100 in attack, nearly plus 300 in defense, double cold damage, and 25 points into health. Ideally, you want to get the special gear for every character you are most likely to use, especially for the endgame. I also get a skill point which I put into Arctic Burst, but the only reason I invested in this is so that I can get Ice Pillar. I'll elaborate later when I get the ability. Back at the core, I dispense of more enemies. Cyclops gets Visor Upgrade, which make all of his optic blasts do more damage and adds a critical hit chance. Toad gets Tongue Mastery, which makes his tongue attacks hurt more, and we go on our merry way. Hey, it's been a while since we last saw these guys. Then I destroyed the security fields blocking us from progressing into the reactors, but first I have to drop the rods into the pool and then activate the reactors. Otherwise, it's DOT for the rest of the mission. So after some time, I find the first and second blue rod and dunk them into the water. Then find the blue console and activate it. I do the exact same thing for the yellow rods. But then some douche hits me mid-flight and I fall into the pool of what I can only assume is irradiated water. God damn it! With both reactors down, the path in the middle opens up and we get into the last section of the core, where we need to find 2 coolant pumps and destroy them. I take a moment to revive Iceman, find another homing beacon, and proceed to the core control section. After we destroy the 2 coolant pumps, Forge tells us that the final step is to activate the primary power console, which will render the entire facility useless. However, there is one final obstacle, and an ugly one at that.
Your worst nightmare, Pally. The name's Sugar Man, though I know you don't know. You know? I'm from an alternate future, one where Apocalypse took over the world. But then the X-Men had to go and ruin it all. Still, I managed to escape this timeline, and Apocalypse was willing to take me in. I'll tell you, that guy's as good as gold in any universe. But enough about me, chum. I gotta get busy and kill ya. Don't wanna go upsetting the boss man, you know? Apocalypse has got a real wicked temper. Just like me.
Okay, so Sugar Man is no joke. He wields a hammer and an axe and he uses them in a spin attack, which can deal a shit ton of damage, so close combat is severely ill-advised. He also has a tongue attack, which also hurts a lot, and it even knocks you down. He also has a basic combo where he swings his hammer and axe. General strategy with him is to stay away from him for the most part and attack him from afar. If you want to risk attacking close, it's best to do it after his spin attack and then immediately run away. I don't even follow my own advice here, as I try to use Path of Destruction only to get immediately washed. Great, there goes my heavy hitter. After defeating Sugar Man, Forge reminds us to take out the primary console, and so we do. The facility blows up as expected, and we return to home base as I spend the rest of this recording session grinding out levels for my characters. I might as well stock up on some potions and sell some crap to Forge while I'm here. Then I switch out Toad for Scarlet Witch, and Iceman for Sunfire. That will come back to bite me. The only thing Sunfire unlocks is his extreme ability, Rising Sun, which allows him and his team to become invulnerable for a limited time. Wanda's powers in this game are certainly very interesting. She's a support role, much like Jean Grey. For her offensive skills, she starts with Hexbolt, Combustion, which is actually a pretty decent radial that sets things on fire, Reality Shift, which is a Hexbolt with a chance to turn enemies into crates full of tech bits, potions, and even gear. Misfortune is an ability I've never actually seen done. By that I mean whenever I cast it on someone, it's kinda hard to tell if it's working. Someone please tell me how this is supposed to work or if it's just broken. On to the extremes. Anarchy Assault, not that useful. Revitalize, a little bit more useful in the case of emergencies, so I'll take that. Probability Siphon is the same as Jean Grey's Mental Vortex. Getting hit equals getting EP. Amplify Luck increases critical hit chance. On its own, it's not that special, but paired up with Scarlet Touch, as well as other characters with critical hit passives, and you'll be hitting pretty damn hard. I kinda got torn between the two, so I just put points into both. For the first time, we get a dedicated healing ability, and it kinda blows because it's basically a healing factor with a time limit. Look, I get not wanting to make overpowered characters, but come on, if you're gonna nerf Logan's healing factor, at least make this heal 10% of your health per second or something. And you don't even need to change the cost of EP for it. Scarlet Touch just boosts her critical hit chance, taking that. Deflect missiles, cause that's always good to have. And of course, Mutant Mastery. I also forgot to mention that I got Sunfire's unique item, Essence of the Corona. Well, that word has been ruined. Anyways, this gear gives a basic attack and defense buff along with 50% resistance to radiation and 60 plus radiation damage for all of Sunfire's attacks. Then I speak to the professor, who informs us that Emma Frost has discovered that the top leaders of New York City that were telepathically put into comas were directly caused by former students of hers. They are based in a temple dedicated to Apocalypse, and if we are to awaken the leaders of NYC, their disbandment is essential. I then decide to get a full briefing on this whole matter. Take it away, Professor.
Emma, can you broadcast to everyone here at the briefing?
Need you ask, Charles? It's not as if I'm a first-year student.
No, of course not. My apologies. Would you be so kind as to tell everyone what you've learned?
Certainly. Charles asked me to discover who or what is responsible for the comas suffered by the leaders during the attack on New York City.
Yes, the military was paralyzed because of it, and they still haven't recovered.
It was a rather masterful stroke on the part of Apocalypse, but after a long search, I was able to confirm those comas were indeed psychic-induced.
Who would do such a thing, Emma?
I'm fairly certain this is the work of former students of mine.
The Stepford Cuckoos?
Please, Bobby, I'd appreciate you not using that title.
Aren't those the three sisters who left the school after the fourth one was killed during a mission?
Yes, and they've always blamed me for her death. I imagine they joined Apocalypse as some misguided attempt at revenge.
So, where are these young ladies now?
I traced them to an ancient temple in Canada. Apocalypse has a large number of his priests guarding them.
Apocalypse has priests?
Oh yes. True to his egomaniacal form, Apocalypse has built an entire cult that worships him. They call themselves Madri Priests.
What would you have us do, Miss Frost?
I'll meet you at the front of the temple, and we'll explore the interior together. If this does turn out to be the work of my girls, they're going to find out in exquisite detail just how unhappy I am.
Boy, glad I'm not them.
Very good, Emma. A team will be sent immediately.
Thank you, Charles, my sweet. I await their arrival.
Not wasting any time, we get on the X-Jet, fly to the temple, and get a telepathic message from Emma that she has already infiltrated the Madrai temple and will meet up with her shortly. Not even 10 steps in, we encounter an extremist.
Blasphemers! You desecrate this house of worship with your impure souls and heretical thoughts. We, the priests of the Temple of Apocalypse, will flay the flesh from your bones.
I don't know why, but just the way he delivers his lines gives the same energy as the guards in Oblivion.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
He goes down easy enough, but of course they bring back the damn dogs. After dealing with them, we find the door we need to go through, but the door says only a complete understanding of the altars of the body will open that which blocks the way to the altar of the mind. Okay, cryptic. We go through a door behind us, and at least for me, we get the first instance of a voice actor doing a little too much.
You seek the Trinity. You are even more foolish than I'd thought.
On a side note, these cultists can be pretty damn annoying, especially with some of the other variations we'll see later on. Each one of these altars requires a specific stone in its place, so we set off into the temple in search of them. On another side note, I only just realized this, but I need Optic Slam to get Scott's other, more powerful beam attacks. Optic Slam is just a knockdown beam, that's all it does. During our search, we find one of the artifacts and a portal conveniently appears behind us that leads us back to the Hall of the Altars. We place the artifact on the altar and an apparition of one of the sisters appears just to fuck with us. A few more enemies later, we find an extraction point and I decide to change my team again because I feel that I needed a little more brawn. I get Magneto and Wolverine to replace Jugs and Psyche. Magneto unlocks Intimidation, which increases his defense and lowers any melee damage he takes, as if he needed to be more untouchable. After a skirmish with the Hellhounds that I love so much, we get to meet up with Emma, who berates us for fighting everything in sight.
Could you possibly make any more noise as you blunder about?
Emma says she discovered 3 machines that look like Cerebro, which is how the Stepford Cuckoos are keeping New York City in a coma. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Cerebro is the machine that the X-Men use to locate mutants from around the world. So naturally, you'd understand why we have to destroy them. Strap in if you aren't already, because this is one of the few levels where I genuinely get lost trying to find my objectives. These Archbishop-type enemies can resurrect fallen enemies, so taking them out is essential. Scarlet Witch gets Hex-locked, which is basically just a regular Hex Bolt, but with a chance to do an instant third of their health. This can replace Misfortune. Back on the Archbishops, because they can pack quite the punch. Jesus, I gotta find an extraction point. I'm getting cooked and served up here. Get rid of this fake-ass Cerebro, Logan. With 0 health packs, 2 of my guys nearly die trying to get the Rage artifact to some regular-ass zealots. Just after entering the Madrai cloisters and still no extraction point in sight, I decide to port back to base, change my team up, and get Wanda's special gear while I'm at it. And it will be well worth it. I also get Hex Mastery while I'm at it, stock up on potions, and get back into the fray. At this intersection, I chose the left path, which leads to the Divine Sanctuary. We encounter a new enemy type, simply known as the Cursed. Interesting name, I guess Crimson Priestesses was a little too gimmicky. In this large chamber, there are multiple objective markers, which means only one of them has the artifact of the soul, and the rest are mental illusions created by the Cuckoos. This marks the destruction of the second Cerebro altar, and what do you know, I found the artifact on the first try. I also found a blue homing beacon, but I can't get to it because I don't have anyone who can fly.
2,000 years later.
Thank you, Jean Grey. Next section on the list is the Meditation Chamber, where we have to flip some switches to open the barriers containing the artifact of the heart. It's also at this point where the extremes start to come in real handy for thinning out their numbers. Destroying the last of the Cerebro replicas, Emma tells us that New York's leaders should shortly wake up from their comas. With the last artifact collected and placed at the altar, the door to the altar of the mind opens and we can proceed. Iceman also gets Ice Pillar, which is basically an instant pop-up attack that can hit enemies that are off-screen. Later on, he can even summon multiple Ice Pillars. Back at the temple, we can interact with the altar, and it tells us that we need one final artifact to access this portal. After getting lost for about 30 minutes trying to look for this artifact, Wolverine dies getting a data disk, but on the plus side, Iceman levels up once again and gets Cold Crush, a projectile that explodes with a freezing effect, which will officially replace Freeze Beam. After some more dungeon diving, we eventually find the artifact, slam that bitch into the altar, then for some reason, Emma no longer has a speaking voice and we have to read what happens. She gets kidnapped through unknown means. Okay, so what happened here? The entire time that Emma has spoken to us, she was voiced, but suddenly here, they just couldn't pay her enough to read this? What's the deal here? Nonetheless, we head through the portal to confront the Stepford Cuckoos and put an end to the Madrai cult.
Are these the ones who angered Apocalypse so much?
Yes, I believe they are. Can you imagine how pleased Apocalypse will be when we bring him their heads? Miss Frost? She's gone now. Apocalypse needs her for a rather important experiment. You really believe Miss Frost knows anything of loyalty? She'll stay with the X-Men until she grows bored, and then leave just when she's needed most. Yes, that's a lesson we learned quite well from Miss Frost, at the expense of our sister's life. So, to pay our dear teacher back, we've joined up with Apocalypse. No, you have. Let us educate you in the error of your ways.
Unlike most bosses, the Cuckoos are susceptible to flinching, like we are, i.e. they can be frozen in place, stunned, etc. To compensate, they will generate more illusions of themselves and spam their mental laser attack and that radial knockdown move. The illusions will simply phase through our attack, so gunning for them is pointless. After dealing enough damage to the main bodies, we enter the second phase of this boss fight.
You dare disrupt the Madrai Temple and battle the Trinity. For that, you will face my wrath.
Now you're in for it. Holocaust will show you the true meaning of pain. Yes, he's a horseman of Apocalypse, and he's our protector. Destroy them, Holocaust.
Worry not, little ones. I will crush these interlopers, and then Apocalypse will resume his conquest of the Earth without restraint.
So now with the Horseman Holocaust taking center stage, and for some reason the camera stays fixed in the corner like it's Resident Evil, the Cuckoos are regulated to a support role, sending minions to put pressure on me. Holocaust also uses these minions to take their souls, which gives him a strength boost, making his beams, haymakers, and football tackles hit like a train. On top of that, he gets invulnerability for a limited time. To make matters worse, when Holocaust is brought down to a certain amount of health, one of the Cuckoos will step in and use their psychic powers on this shrine to make Holocaust permanently invulnerable. Attacking Holocaust now is pointless as nothing can hurt him, so I beeline it for the telepath and destroy the shrine. If you destroy just the Cuckoo, she'll just respawn, so shrine first. Now for me, this is the first boss fight that feels somewhat engaging. You have to shift your focus between Holocaust and the Cuckoos, giving him invulnerability. Second time's a charm, one of the Cuckoos prays to the altar, we destroy it, and then back into the fire we go. I think it would have been cool if Holocaust had different attacks for each time we destroyed a shrine, get some variety in there, but no, he keeps the same moveset throughout the whole fight. The last Cuckoo comes out for a prayer, and so we answer. With no support left, Holocaust is easy pickings. After defeating him and the Stepford Cuckoos, we report that Emma Frost has been kidnapped, and the professor urges us to return to base, but just before that, Nightcrawler unlocks Teleport Frenzy, and I'll show you a little glitch with this ability in a moment. Wolverine gets Lethal Lunge, an ability that has a % chance to instant kill, and even if it doesn't, it will still do a megaton of damage. Back at base camp, now is as good a time as any, I suppose. When you go to Forge, the first menu that pops up is the training screen. This allows you to boost your characters by a level, add bonus skill points, or reset your skill points. Go to Nightcrawler and select Redistribute Skills. Then head into the character sheet and put 1 point into Teleport. Ignore Teleport Attack entirely and just put 1 into Teleport Frenzy. Congratulations, you can now spam this move without spending EP. We speak to the professor and he tells us that Angel was unfortunately captured by Apocalypse's forces, and we finally move on to the remains of the X-Mansion, marking the beginning of Act 4.
How may I be of assistance? What of the spy we captured? He has adapted to the genetic splicing even better than hoped. Show him to me. Angel, come forth and meet your master.
The name Angel no longer applies.
What would you have us call you?
I am Archangel, a horseman of Apocalypse, and I am yours to command.
Your speed and strength have been augmented. But what of your soul?
My soul is filled with hatred, rage, and death for the X-Men.
Well, it's not like that was foreshadowed or anything.
Welcome to my home. Or rather, what's left of my home. Apocalypse was quite thorough in its destruction.
Yeah, I could see that. While our team wishes to be more direct in stopping Apocalypse, the Professor redirects our focus to New York City and the safety of its inhabitants. While we're here, over there is Shadowcat, another unplayable member of the X-Men. Although with her, I guess it makes more sense. I mean, how the hell do you balance someone who can literally phase through anything? More importantly, there is a special dialogue between her and Colossus. But if you trigger it the first time without controlling Colossus, it will be forever locked out. I also figured I'd take him along for our next mission. Unbreakable is his only good extreme as it makes him invincible. Steel Skin is basically the same as Iceman's ice armor. Brawler is an attack buff. Galvanize is a defense buff. Metallurgy offers resistance to fire, lightning, and radiation, which I guess is useful. Of course, we'll get Might, and Mutant Mastery is here for some reason. I'll take it, but to see it on a melee character is rather odd. Get Uppercut, pretty self-explanatory. Massive Strike works the same as Wanda's Hex Lock, but as a melee attack. Anyways, off to Shadowcat we go.
Hi, handsome. Where the heck have you been hiding? Don't you know I've been missing you?
Please, Kitty, let me speak. There are rumors floating around, and I want you to know they are untrue.
What kind of rumors, Colossus?
About me and Scarlet Witch. It is being said that we are an item, but that is not true. During a mission briefing, I commented that she was intelligent and good-looking. Now it has snowballed out of control.
You said she was pretty? What were you thinking? Of course everyone's gonna talk about you and her.
I was merely paying her a compliment. Please, Kitty, forgive me if I have wronged you.
Oh, you know I can't stay mad at you, you big dummy. Sure, all is forgiven. But if I ever catch you even looking at Scarlet Witch, I'll rip out your eyeballs. Got it?
Yes, I am so relieved things are back to normal. Now perhaps Magneto will stop talking to me like I was a potential son-in-law.
You know, I think Magneto was trying to do you a favor because I always wondered why I was never exposed to this particular relationship outside of this game, and as it turns out, it is based on their relationship in the comics, but,
Oh.
Moira, what do you got for me?
To get Apocalypse out of New York City, we'll have to battle him in his tower. But we first have to get into his tower, which from all indications is impossible.
Okay, so how do we get in then?
Look up Sebastian Shaw in New York City. If anyone would know how to get into that tower, it'd be him.
Alright, and how do you suppose we get to the city without being shot down?
Your best bet for entering New York City undetected would be the sewers. There's an entrance near the mansion.
Thanks for the info. For now, though, what's this about some perimeter platforms?
Greetings. It seems we have a mission of mercy to carry out. To the north of us, Apocalypse's military is driving several hundred humans toward the ocean. It's just a matter of time before they're captured.
Magneto, we're not equipped to handle an evacuation that big.
Bolivar Trask is.
The man who invented Sentinels?
Yes, that Bolivar Trask. He's using a fleet of his Sentinels as an airlift for the refugees.
So why do we care? Let the Sentinels save them.
The problem is, Apocalypse has set up a series of defensive platforms along the coast. Those platforms will destroy any Sentinel that comes near.
I'm guessing they want us to take out the platforms so the Sentinels have a clear path.
That is correct, Cyclops.
But the Sentinels are going to attack as soon as we're in their sights.
Great. So we wind up fighting both Apocalypse's men and Sentinels.
Not this time. The programming's been rewritten such that, to them, we'll look exactly like humans.
Is anyone else here getting that this is a recipe for disaster feeling?
I would have thought an X-Man would jump at a chance to do a good deed such as this.
Oh, I'll do it. But you all better be prepared for a big I told you so if something goes haywire, huh?
Thank you for that thrilling insight. If there are no further questions, be on your way.
Since the perimeter seems more urgent, that is where we head next, and because it's a much bigger mission than we can handle, the Professor enlists the aid of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the mission will be directed by Nick Fury himself.
Team, some of you I've worked with before, others of you I've fought with, but
lives are on the line, so there's no time for egos right now. A team of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are on their way to your location. It is imperative that you destroy the anti-aircraft guns before my men arrive. Those anti-aircraft guns are almost indestructible. The only way you're going to hurt them is by destroying the generator that powers them.
Well, would you look at that? Our second timer-based mission. Okay, mini rant. Did anyone else ever play a game as a kid, and if you saw a timer, you freaked the fuck out? Maybe it's just because I couldn't read English at the time. I think that might have been it. Anyways, as we destroy the first generator, a voice from the sky pierces our ears.
Hear me, mutants, and flee from the sound of my voice. It is a death knell for you and for all your wretched kind. It is I, Bastion, the architect of your destruction. Prepare to meet me on the field of battle. I will prove you are weak and unworthy.
Well, he's certainly different to his X-Men 97 version. Bastion is an interesting villain. To sum up his backstory, he is a time-traveling human-sentinel hybrid with the power to talk to machines, namely Sentinels. That is all I can say without going down a rabbit hole. The Sentinels that were supposed to be helping us attack our team thanks to Bastion rebooting them to their original programming. Sentinels are some of the more tougher standard enemies. They're not as scary as the ones in Legends 1, but they still hit pretty hard if you're not careful. We destroy the second generator, battle some more Sentinels, wreck the third generator, find an orange homing beacon, and teleport to another platform where we are introduced to our first and only escort mission in the game. We have to protect Agent Kilroy while he plants some explosive to take out the radar arrays. Thank God I have Iceman, because if I didn't, I likely would be restarting this section over and over again. After blowing up the array, a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents will protect this area, and we have to do this 2 more times. So going once and going twice, but before we can get to the last one, Kilroy is blasted away and now we have to take out the last radar array ourselves, which just involves destroying this, touching this, and destroying that before the timer goes off, which we accomplish with no difficulty. And that concludes 95% of this mission. There is still the matter of Bastion, which we can take care of right now.
For too long, you mutants have taken advantage of humanity's kindness. And for too long, I've sat by and done nothing while you schemed and plotted like cowardly assassins. But my time of silence is over. I must take action and destroy each and every one of your misbegotten kind. Do not speak, mutant. The mere sound of your voice causes me pain. I'm not under any type of control. I know what I'm doing. Mutants are an aberration, a mistake of nature. I've made it my life's work to correct this mistake and erase it forever. Your pestilence has threatened to choke off the flower of mankind long enough. With my help, humanity will once again flourish and grow on the broken husks of your bodies. I'll hear no more of your lies, mutant. Let us battle so that I can put an end to you.
With that marvelous speech over, he summons an army of Sentinels and engages us in battle. Bastion himself is actually not too difficult. His Sentinels pack way more of a punch than he does. In between his lasers and energy-focused punches, he will periodically summon a group of Sentinels to engage us in battle, sometimes even detonating them when we're near. And that's about the most dangerous thing about this boss fight. The Sentinels bring a nice little challenge, but all in all, not very impressed with this boss fight. After defeating Bastion and returning to the X-Mansion, Jean gets the best offensive ability for a support role, Mental Guardian. It is basically a psionic turret that deals a crap ton of damage. As cool as it was to have Colossus, I'm gonna switch him out with Gambit, whose first extreme I get is Prince of Thieves, which just increases the loot drops. Very helpful when grinding for cash. I also get Staff Slam, which is useful for crowds. Do some training in the Danger Room, get Gambit's unique item, the Nanocore Staff, which gives him a basic attack and defense buff, along with Resistance 2 and extra energy damage. And finally, get a briefing on how to locate Sebastian Shaw.
Before we can hope to defeat Apocalypse, we must first determine how to gain entry to his stronghold.
You want us to go inside Apocalypse's tower? Oh, that's daft. It can't be done.
Watch it, Toad.
Right. I almost forgot. We're one big, happy, dysfunctional family.
If I may continue, Moira believes Sebastian Shaw might be of help.
Shaw's bad news, Professor. He's the head of the Hellfire Club.
and they aren't exactly big fans of the X-Men.
I understand, Bishop, but it's because of his unsavory connections that he might know secrets of Apocalypse.
He also might want to hand us over for a nice reward.
Aye! Somehow, this has got to figure into Destiny's prediction.
Toad, I ain't warning you again.
All right.
So what do you want us to do, Professor?
Travel to New York City and find Mr. Shaw. Then see if he has the information we desire and what he would like in return.
How about we persuade him the old-fashioned way?
Wolverine, ain't you ever gonna learn? You can't solve every problem with your fists.
Don't know. Ain't never run across a problem I couldn't solve with my fists.
No, there will be no violence against Mr. Shaw. Simply find him and see if we can reach an agreement. Any questions? Then good luck to you.
I don't know, Professor. Maybe violence is the answer. At least against the Fox version of Shaw. If you know, you know. Great movie, by the way. As we proceed down the sewers, we encounter the Morlocks. The Morlocks are mutants who refuse to hide their mutant powers from humans, and because of that, they were shunned and hunted down, forced to live in the sewers beneath New York City. They had a much bigger role in the first game, whereas here they're more of an obstacle. Although considering the events of the first game, you'd think they'd be a bit nicer to us. We also have more spiders to deal with. Makes sense. It is a sewer after all. After beating the shit out of the Morlocks in their own home, we need to drain this battery to get a homing beacon trapped in a fan, which means we need to grab Bishop, and I figure we could keep him around for a while. He gets his only useful extreme, Superconductor, which allows his entire party to infinitely spam their abilities for a while. It also adds immunity to energy damage. With Bishop on our team, we halt the fan and are able to retrieve the homing beacon. After fighting through a few more Morlocks, we escape the sewers and find ourselves in the south side of New York City. It is here where our hunt for Sebastian Shaw officially begins. Our first new enemy type are the Infinite Prometheus, basically energy-resistant robots. I also get Gambit back, and it actually doesn't take too long for us to find Shaw, and he'll also have a unique dialogue with Gambit.
Do my eyes deceive me? Or am I graced by the presence of one of the greatest thieves ever known?
Oh, you know better than that, Shaw. I gave up my thieving ways many moons ago.
Oh yes, I know. I just find it a shame that an artist such as yourself would give up his craft.
Uh-huh. Well, now I got me bigger things to worry about, like saving the world, which is why I come to you. You know of any back doors into Apocalypse Tower, huh?
Of course I do. And of course, you know it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I know. So what's the price?
Just a few things to help tide me over, since I'm being forced to leave town in a hurry. If you can get me tech bits, my holodisc, and my master key, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Tech bits ain't so hard to come by, but where we gonna find the other two things?
Just like with Emma Frost, this one line of dialogue was not recorded, and we have to read.
All right, Shaw. You got yourself a deal.
Very good, Gambit. It's a pleasure doing business with you.
In true RPG fashion, this first half of the mission is a fetch quest. Also, remember back in Act 1 when Sinister thought it would be marvelous to combine Nightcrawler's teleportation with Cyclops' optic beams? Well, here it is, an optic crawler. He's got both range and mobility, but goes down eventually. I go back and do the Danger Room challenge for Nightcrawler, earning me the Quantum Swords, which are just extra attack and defense buff, but with an extra 10% to movement speed. After some more hordes of enemies, I managed to get one of the 2 items on the itinerary. We finally get to the west side of the city and fight some Cersei. Ah, the nostalgia. We also find some spare Infinite uniforms, which may prove to be handy later. And by later, I mean right now. The green laser wall will only let Infinites pass through, but since we have disguises, we pass through no problem. Apocalypse has got some serious security issues if we can just Scooby-Doo our way through a laser wall's security check. However, it seems the guards have better sense than a security scan.
What do you think you're doing with that holodisc?
Apocalypse wanted to see the disc.
Apocalypse has already been informed of the disc. He wasn't interested in seeing it.
Well, he changed his mind.
Apocalypse changed his mind? That'd be a first. What are you really doing here?
Even if we say the other option, which is a surprise inspection orchestrated by Mr. Sinister, the guards don't take the bait.
A surprise inspection? Why? He's never done that before. What's your identification code?
Ah, screw it. Stealth was never a focus in this game anyway. With the holodisc in hand, we go back to the mansion and fulfill our end of the deal with Shaw, who tells us to keep the master key because it will open a secret entrance on the north side of the city sewers. He also asks us to free the Black Queen from the tower if we manage to get there. The Black Queen is just basically an evil vampire version of Jean Grey, with some necromancy thrown into the mix. So when we get to the north side, we are greeted by an unexpected character.
You guys look like the cast of a really bad sitcom. Ooh, I know. I could be the wacky neighbor who winds up killing you. That ought to get your ratings up. The name's Deadpool, but I wouldn't mind if you called me Bruce. Heck, you could even call me Marcia. Marcia! I kinda like that, don't you? Me? I'm fine. Right as rain and cute as a baby's dimples. But you, on the other hand, are about to be on the receiving end of a major tush-kicking courtesy of yours truly. Close. I was recruited by a really groovy dude named Mr. Sinister. Oh, sure, he looks like death warmed over, but underneath that creepy facade, you'll find out he's even creepier. Me? Yeah, I'm fine. I just have an uncontrollable urge to rip you into tiny shreds and then dance and spit all over your graves. I don't know, really. The only thing I find threatening about you is your fashion sense. Maybe these psychopathic urges have something to do with that little potion Mr. Sinister forced me to drink. What? That's impossible. I don't believe you. Couldn't happen in a million years. Okay, so what if I am being controlled? I still want to turn you all into sushi. But I'm really good at killing. You might say it's my specialty. That and ballroom dancing. But just guess which one I can actually make a living at. Nope. Sorry, can't do it. I really want you all dead. And not the kind of dead where there's a possibility that you might still be alive. I want you so dead that you'll be reincarnated as a corpse. I did work as a video game programmer for a few months. Does that count? Finally, it's beating you up time! I really gotta get a new catchphrase.
Yes, you do, Wade. Yes, you do. Immediately, you'll notice that Deadpool's health bar is yellow. That is due to his healing factor, which is actually not much of a factor in this fight. The only way it would be is if you literally sit there and let him heal. As far as his moveset goes, he will teleport around the area, which is the only mildly annoying thing about him. He will also shoot at you and take a few swings at you. But since I have Nightcrawler on my team, Super Combo! It makes Deadpool irrelevant. Not that he was much of a challenge to begin with, which I'm disappointed, Deadpool. I expected a little more from you. After defeating Deadpool, we head down to the sewers to battle through another wave of Morlocks, find the last orange homing beacon, head back to the mansion, head into the secret area, which takes a little longer to complete, grab Iron Man's jet boots, and finally head into Apocalypse's tower.
I'll be sending Beast up to meet you. He'll be operating the consoles and making sure no evil schemes are afoot. Be on your way.
With all due respect, Professor, that sounds like evil is afoot. Also, quick side note, I kinda passed the only optional boss fight in this area. Don't worry, I'll go back to cover it at the end. Meanwhile, I switch out Gambit for Toad, and he gets Noxious Spew. And it's kinda just a better version of Mucus Spit, because it splits into 3 on contact. Also, for some reason, we only just got the mission briefing for the tower now, not before, which is weird, but whatever.
Now that we've gained access to Apocalypse's tower, we are at the most critical juncture of our endeavor. The way through this stronghold will not be an easy one.
But Professor, even if we do somehow manage to beat Apocalypse, there's still the small matter of all his defenses around New York City.
Bishop is right. There is no telling what Apocalypse might do if he's defeated. Remember, he was willing to flood all of Genosha.
And that's precisely why I'm having Beast meet you once you've arrived at the top of the tower. From there, he'll be able to shut down any destructive devices Apocalypse might have activated.
Not to sound like a skipping record, but what about Destiny's prediction?
What's a record?
Will you flip and listen to me? We're supposed to be handed over to Apocalypse.
Who's to say you're not the one to turn us in, Toad?
Me? Me? Have you gone loony? I'm the one who's been trying to warn you all along!
Methinks Toad doth protest too much.
Would you put a cork in it, kid? We're close to the end of the mission, and Destiny's prediction hasn't come true yet.
Perhaps for once she is wrong, Toad.
Yes, we'll have to assume her prediction will not come true. We can take no other course of action than the one we've decided. Now be on your way, and the best of luck to you.
After battling our way through the tower, like trying to get to the top of the palace on day 1, we find the Black Queen, who demands that we set her free.
Release me at once, or suffer the consequences.
Well, you could do with some manners.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. I don't know what came over me. It must be this dreadful cell. If you would be so kind as to free me, I'd be able to give you information that would be quite beneficial to you.
That's better. Also, I'm pretty sure this is an optional objective, so you could just leave her here if you wanted to, which is kind of what I unintentionally ended up doing by going to Sinister's lab and meeting up with Beast, who has Sabretooth with him for some reason.
The furball here demanded that I come along as protection. Hey, what's going on?
I stand corrected. Apparently, you're the one who needs protection.
Well done, my servant. You have not only handed the 4th victim to me, you have delivered my enemies. This pleases me greatly.
For that, I am proud, my master. The beast you knew was erased back at the Savage Lands. I am now Dark Beast, servant of Apocalypse.
Ignore these fools, Beast. Let us rendezvous with Sabretooth on the roof. There, we will complete the final leg of our journey.
Beast!
What the fuck are you doing?
God damn it, Beast, now I have to beat some sense into you. After dealing with the prelates he left behind, I suddenly remembered to go back for the Black Queen, who was very polite and not at all angry at the fact that I forgot about her.
What took you so long? It feels like I've been waiting in that dreary cell for hours.
I like how the dialogue choices reflect what I just did. Well, you did say you had some information for us, right?
Well, one does what one must in these difficult times. Now do be a dear, and get out of my way!
Shows what I get for being nice. Anyways, if we backtrack slightly to the T-junction in the west side of New York, if we take a left here, we'll gain entry into the west side sewers. It's here where we fight through some more Morlocks. These guys just can't catch a break, can they? At the end of the sewers, we meet up with Banshee, voiced by Quentin Flynn, who unfortunately does not have the best Irish accent.
An XMen? Why, if you aren't a sight for sore eyes.
Banshee was the mutant directly responsible for aiding the civilians back at the perimeter platforms. He tells us about Sinister's holding pens and his development of the Brain Trust, which will serve as foreshadowing for the final boss fight. Banshee wants us to take it out, and so we oblige. This is also one of the few areas besides the Danger Room where we can farm for XP, as these platforms will spawn an endless amount of enemies. So to summarize this objective, we need some key cards from some guards to destroy these test tube brains, which will make the boss fight easier, as well as summon a friendly demon to aid us in combat for the rest of this section. Moving on to the final room, Toad will initiate a conversation with the warden of this prison, Strife.
What is such a tiny man doing in my domain? Certainly you haven't come to fight me. Have you come to swear your allegiance to me, little one?
My name's Toad, you git. And you know what I come here to do? I'm gonna give you a major thrashing.
You hurt me? Surely you jest.
I don't mind jesting for Magneto and the Brotherhood, but with you, I'm deadly serious.
I too am serious, Toad. Serious when I say I'm going to inflict as much pain on you as I possibly can. I will destroy you. I will annihilate you. I will utterly crush you into the dirt.
Well, you certainly talk a good fight. I'll give you that.
You fool! Perhaps you aren't aware that in addition to my own abilities, I also have the enormous power of the Brain Trust to call upon.
What the bloody heck is a Brain Trust?
It is a creation of Mr. Sinister's that has a way of psychically calming the prisoners. But it will also aid me in battle.
All right, pretty boy. Maybe you got one on us, and maybe you don't, but we're gonna find out.
So here we go. Strife is unfortunately easy, much like Omega Red. Except the Brain Trust will revive him indefinitely, so taking out the remaining test tube brains around the room will cut off Strife's life hacks, and he will stay down for good. Shifting our focus back, we head to the top of Apocalypse Tower, and since we have Jean Grey, she will have a special conversation with our next boss fight.
My stars and garters. It appears the whole gang is here. Pity I have to leave. But first, let me introduce you to another member of the family who recently underwent a few changes.
Hello, my dear friends. How do you like the new me?
Oh, Angel. What have they done to you?
Refer to me by my true name, Jean. I am Archangel.
Mr. Sinister did this to you, didn't he? Brainwashing you wasn't enough. He had to rewrite your DNA.
Mr. Sinister opened my eyes, showed me that I don't have to be confined by Xavier's rules of morality.
No, Sinister has blinded you, corrupted you to think how he wants. You're just a pawn to him.
Don't try to use your psychobabble on me, Jean. I can see right through it. Thanks to Mr. Sinister, I'm free to revel in my powers. I don't have to be ashamed for being a mutant god who walks amongst weakling humans.
Angel, please, listen to me. Your mind is being controlled somehow. You have to fight it.
Silence! I've heard enough, Jean. Why am I even wasting my time talking to you?
Because, Warren, despite all the changes, you're still Angel, and you know the truth.
Yes, Jean. I know the truth. Come, let me show you just how powerful it can be.
Ironically, it's not so much powerful as it is annoying. Archangel will throw his metal feathers at you, occasionally do a spin, and will fly up and smash into the ground. Sometimes he will smack you with one of his wings, but overall, he doesn't do a whole lot of damage like previous bosses. He does, however, have a gimmick. After dealing enough damage to him, he will take to the skies and stand in the central teleporter. Meanwhile, his minions will spawn while we try to take out the teleporter arms. With the teleporter disarmed, the sheer energy output destabilizes it, and now we have a runaway portal which will randomly teleport one of us to one of the surrounding platforms. Our goal here is to hit Archangel with this portal laser as he tries to maintain the high ground by standing on these mini towers and using long-ranged attacks. Destroying the tower he's on via the portal laser will cause him to land for a short while, allowing my team to get a few hits in before he takes to the skies again. He will do this 3 more times before he runs out of towers and is forced to fight us on even ground. Or at least most of the time. Not that it matters since I have long-range attacks of my own which manage to take care of Archangel. Afterwards, we use the portal to chase down Apocalypse, marking the beginning of the 5th and final act of the game.
What's going on here? Where am I?
Cease your struggles. Those restraints are composed of adamantium, a metal which even your elephantine strength cannot break.
I'm gonna paint this whole room with your blood!
Though limited, your vocabulary is certainly colorful.
You can't do this! You're an X-Man! You're an X-Man!
I was an X-Man.
Having second thoughts, Beast?
No, not at all.
What of the Nexus? How soon until it is functional?
Syncing 4 genomes is no small feat. The energy generated by infusing these 4 mutant genes is far greater than had been guessed. Perhaps even more than you could cope with.
You underestimate me, Beast. Once I wield the power of the 4, I will be invincible. None will stand in my way, and I will see to it the X-Men and the Brotherhood are utterly annihilated.
You know, this whole plan kinda doesn't make sense if you're well acquainted with his character, but I guess more power isn't inherently a bad thing. So plot devices aside, we let Professor Patrick Stewart give us the rundown.
Thanks to your efforts, the remnants of Apocalypse's force are falling quickly. The authorities expect to regain total control of New York City in a matter of hours. The teleporter at the top of Apocalypse's tower has led us to one of the pyramids of Giza. For all we know, he may have helped build this structure when he was a young man. First, we must locate Beast. He would have information on the machine Apocalypse has labored so hard to build. That device causes me the greatest amount of concern. When you're ready, come and see me for more information on your next mission.
Now for my own rundown. I decided to put Storm in the team because I realized I haven't had her since the prologue mission in Act 1. So very quickly, I get Whirlwind purely because I find it amusing to throw people around in the air, her extreme, Will of the Goddess, Whirlwind Armor, Mutant Mastery, Lightning Mastery, and Lightning Bolt. Her other moves are either EP whores or just suck. Over by Forge, we can interact with Scarlet Witch, who is wearing her alternate costume for some reason. But not really feeling like talking to her, I get Sunfire back on the team and get a full briefing on saving Beast, again, from Apocalypse.
Having chased Apocalypse through the teleporter atop his tower, our team wound up here in Giza, Egypt. With the aid of the X-Jet, we brought the rest of the team and are preparing for a final assault on Apocalypse's lair.
How's Angel?
Mentally, he's shaken up. But given time, he should recover from the mind control drugs of Mr. Sinister. Physically, I don't know if we'll ever be able to return him to his natural form.
Is Beast being controlled the same way Angel was?
Most definitely. If we can free him from Apocalypse, we should have little trouble clearing his mind.
Now that Apocalypse has the 4 mutants he needs for his machine, is this something we should be concerned about?
That's difficult to say until we find out exactly what it is.
And my son is a part of this machine.
Just like Polaris, Emma Frost, and Sabretooth.
Then we must move swiftly, Xavier. I will not risk my son's life one more second. Do you hear? I've done as you asked me up to this point, but I cannot wait a moment longer.
I understand, Eric. But for us to succeed, we must first locate Beast.
That's preposterous, Xavier. Why should I risk my son's life just to save one of your X-Men?
Think about it, Magneto. Apocalypse left the teleporter on in New York to deliberately lure us here. A trap is waiting for us.
Yes. If we can free Beast, he might be able to warn us what the trap is.
Very well. We'll do it your way, Xavier. But may the gods help you if my son is harmed.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Now, be on your way. We have no time to waste.
On the contrary...
Yeah, I've got time.
So because I thought, why not, I completed the Magneto challenge in the Danger Room to get his unique gear, Advanced Magneto Helmet. Great name, by the way. I don't plan to use Magneto for this section, I just felt like doing it. I then got sidetracked and did a few more Danger Room missions to grind for XP so that I may be overly prepared for the upcoming boss fights. My reward for my efforts is Storm's unique gear, the Mantle of the Goddess, which gives me protection and plus 50 shock damage and fire defense? I mean, okay, I'll take it. As we head into the mouth of Ra, we are seemingly destined to always fight an insect of some kind. Granted, we haven't fought insects since Act 2, but I digress. Look how they crawl out of their holes! Ah, finally, some humanoid enemies. Bitching aside, we don't get too far into the pyramid before we face our next challenge. We'll have some choice words for Storm specifically.
Why, Storm, what a pleasant surprise. Finally, I'll get a chance to see just what a superb fighter you are. Although, I doubt you'll enjoy the outcome of this contest.
Henry, please, think about what you're doing. This isn't like you at all.
Like it or not, Aurora, this is me. The new me. And I rather enjoy it. You have no idea how difficult it was not to laugh every time I spoke to you. There I was, the traitor everyone was so concerned about. Right under your noses.
Storm, you're wasting your time. Beast is one of us now. He's right where he belongs.
Sinister, I've never enjoyed seeing someone in pain, but in your case, I might make an exception. Give us back Beast, or else...
Or else what, my dear lady? Are you going to get physical? I hardly think you have the power to stop me.
Oh, I've got all kinds of power, Sinister. Don't you dare doubt that.
I had no idea you were so quick to anger, Storm.
Be quiet, Sinister. I've heard enough from you. Beast, I'm asking you to please stop and think. We don't want to fight you.
Then that is where we differ, my dear. Because I do want to fight you.
Anybody else notice the weird distortion effect that's on Beast's voice? They likely did that to signify that Beast was corrupted, but I don't know, this scene in particular feels the most like you're facing a person's true self in persona. After trying to talk to Beast proves fruitless, I immediately gun it for Mr. Sinister. Disregard everything I said about Abyss being annoying. No, this guy takes the cake. His laser beams aren't too bad, it's this goddamn move that makes him priority 1. He sends a telepathic attack that will cause my team to run away and invert my controls. Yet, do I need to say anymore? What also doesn't help is that he is invulnerable unless we lure him to one of these nullifiers around the room. However, using them also drains us of EP. Nothing that a few potions can't fix, but I try not to abuse them to max out efficiency. The occasional minion will also pop in, but of course, that's not a problem either. On top of all this, we also have Beast to contend with, and if we manage to take him down while Sinister still stands, he will just revive him to keep the pressure going. This is probably the most invested I ever got into a boss fight, and I kinda wish every boss in the game was this creative. Okay, you can make the argument that all of the boss fights gimmicks are simple, but hey, at least it's better than just standing there and hitting him a lot. With Sinister out of the picture, Beast finally comes to his senses and is deeply remorseful for betraying us. We tell him it's alright because we have the power of friendship, and in return he tells us about a machine he helped construct in order to harness the power of the Four and transfer it into Apocalypse. We ask him where he is, and as it turns out, he is deeper in the pyramid, locked away behind an impenetrable door. In order to open the door, we basically have to do the Meridia questline from Skyrim. For the uninitiated, it means we gotta shine some lights on the door using mirrors scattered around the pyramid. Luckily for us, there are 2 mirrors as opposed to 5 in Mount Kilcreath. However, because this is a dungeon crawler, each section is an absolute maze to traverse through. In my harrowing journey, I find a green homing beacon, a tech station, get lost again, go through several gauntlets of mutants, I guess the devs just ran out of ideas, pull the lever that opens a gate somewhere, I have no clue where, but it's open, find another homing beacon, and get ambushed by these Anubis-looking fellows, and finally get around to nabbing the sun crystal in this area. Great, now I only have to do this a second time, which took much longer than I wanted it to as a result of me giving into my inner gamer and exploring every nook and cranny of this place. I took a break from the Temple Run simulator to respec Iceman and head into the final secret bonus area, which has a simple puzzle attached to it. Completing the puzzle frees Tony Stark from his imprisonment, and he thanks us for his liberation.
Glad you could make the party. I was beginning to get lonely. It feels like it's been years since Apocalypse put me here. Let's just say a trap was set up using my only real weakness. Oh yeah. And you know what? She was almost worth getting caught for. You have my armor. This is just what I needed. Now let's get out of here. I'm dying to pay back Apocalypse for keeping me prisoner.
Hell yeah, since now I have Iron Man as a part of the team, I swap him in. His armor here closely resembles the one from the Iron Man animated series, but personally, I like this version better. Iron Man is a melee fiend, and it's all due to this motion amplifier, which basically turns him into a roadrunner. The skill is glitched out to work on all of Iron Man's actions, including skills like repulsor rays. In other words, more than worth the effort to unlock. However, if there is one caveat, it's that his extremes aren't the best. One is a radial move that does 4 different damage types, one of them being exclusively for robots, and the other is a self-revive in the event you think you will die, but if you're good about your potions, you won't ever need to use this. Wolverine has a similar ability, but the same logic can be applied. I also find it funny that Iron Man of all people has mutant mastery. I also hit up the computer for one final mission briefing.
Jean, how is Beast doing?
The only real damage done was to his pride. He feels terrible for how he acted.
But he wasn't responsible for his actions. Mr. Sinister's drugs had taken control of his mind.
I've told him that, but he refuses to listen. In time, he'll come around. He's already starting to talk about rebuilding the X-Mansion.
So let's cut to the chase. What are we up against? What is this big, bad experiment of Apocalypse?
To begin with, Apocalypse was searching for 4 mutants with harmonic DNA.
So that's why he set up prisons in Genosha and New York City.
Yes, and eventually he found his 4. Polaris, Quicksilver, Emma Frost, and Sabretooth.
But what is harmonic DNA?
Think of the 4 people as 4 musical notes. If their pitches, or DNA, are just right, they will resonate and strengthen each other.
Okay, so he has 4 mutants whose powers go well together. What does that mean?
If those 4 are placed in the device Beast transcribed from the Nuwali Temple, their powers can be transferred to one individual.
And that individual just has to be our good buddy Apocalypse.
Exactly. The process takes time to reach its peak, so we have a window of opportunity. But if we delay too long, Apocalypse will become invincible, and he will once again bring war to us. And this time, he will not fail. Be on your way, and move quickly.
Move quickly we shall, because this video is long enough. So after getting lost for about 20 minutes, I finally figure out this jar puzzle, pull another lever which turns on the light, which allows us to open the big door to Apocalypse. While on the way, I demonstrate what motion amplifier does to Iron Man, and as you can see, it is basically crack. After saving my game and opening the Great Tomb of Nazarick, Iron Man gets gamma bolts which pair extremely well with motion amplifier. Then we head into the Hall of the Dead to face the living monolith.
Who are you to awaken the living monolith? I will utterly annihilate you!
My name is Sunfire. I do not wish to fight you.
Sunfire, you are so tiny. You will not last long against a creature such as me. Flee now, while there is still breath in your body.
I cannot do that, living monolith. You must let me pass.
Why would you risk certain death, little one? It makes no sense.
Apocalypse is threatening to start a war with the aid of a device powered by 4 mutants. I am honor-bound to stop him before he is able to achieve his goal.
It is good to meet a warrior who regards honor so highly. But I, too, am honor-bound to guard this portal. None shall pass through.
Very well then, living monolith. Let the battle begin.
So immediately you'll notice that Monolith is invulnerable. That is because, like Superman, his power comes from sunlight. Which basically means we have to stand on 4 of these platforms around the room that will then raise up the crystals, causing Monolith to not only shrink back down, but also make him vulnerable. He even flat out says this to the player like a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
No! Now I am vulnerable!
He can still hit pretty hard, but of course, Master of Chaos once again shreds a good chunk of his health. By now you might have noticed that I don't just spam this ability, and the reason is quite simple. That would be boring as fuck. I want at least a decent challenge, and if I spammed Master of Chaos, you can cheese just about any boss provided you have the extreme points for it. Because of the absurd amount of damage I do, I only have to do the platform puzzle a second time to take away Monolith's invincibility frames again and take him down for the count. After which, I switch up my team one last time before heading into the danger room and grinding out a few more levels. Wolverine gets his unique item, Fists of the Weapon X, which makes him even tankier than he already is. This made me foolishly believe I could take on the Nightmare version of Deathstrike, and based on how little damage Master of Chaos did to her here... Oh no! You could only imagine just how hard I got humbled. Failures aside, I got some level advancements from Forge because we're near the end of the game, so why not? Head through the maze that is this map and find the chamber that Apocalypse has been skulking around in.
You fools! You should be thanking me, not pursuing me. I'm the one who showed you the X-Men and Brotherhood could work together. You're stronger for it. You put a stop to me! I don't think so. Even as we speak, I have the harmonic powers of 4 mutants flowing through me. With each second, I become stronger, faster, more impervious. That's good, because I think you're going to find this fight an exception. Exceptionally painful.
Now, as far as final boss fights go, this one is properly multi-layered. Now, he may seem like not that much at first given the fact that he doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and he also isn't a health sponge. He will teleport around the map like Deadpool, but again, that's just mildly annoying. He will also transform into any one of our party members and use an attack from their arsenal, which does actually hurt. Once his health reaches 0, he will respawn in the center of the chamber and grow exponentially. Similar to the previous fight, and he packs way more of a punch this time around. So I head into the machine myself himself, and we now have the power of the Four: Sabretooth, Polaris, Emma Frost, and Quicksilver. With these powers we can deal much more damage to Apocalypse, but also drain him of the power of the Four. However, if I switch characters, the power is instantly lost. Iceman gets them this time around, and it's back to whooping Apocalypse's ass. After beating him a second time, a pattern starts to emerge. That's twice now we've defeated him, but he keeps coming back via the machine. We gotta do something different. So into these chambers we run through with minions along the way. We find the generator, but it is shielded so long as Apocalypse remains near it, which means every time we defeat him gives us time to destroy the generator. We don't actually need the power of the Four to destroy the generators, but it does make things easier. With one generator down, all we have to do is take down the other one across the chamber, but after destroying the second generator and going back, nerfed versions of previous bosses we've already defeated join the fray. Not to worry, Nightcrawler once again comes in clutch. Look at those hit points. With Wolverine getting the final blow, Apocalypse is defeated and the ending cutscene plays out.
Everyone is safe, and Apocalypse is defeated, Eric.
Defeated, yes, but not destroyed.
True, but we'll be prepared should he ever return.
Ever the Optimus, eh, Charles?
And why not? Look what we accomplished together. Imagine the good we could continue to achieve.
Give up your childish dreams. One day soon, they could be your undoing.
Never, Eric. The world needs dreamers to give it a soul.
And it needs realists to keep it alive.
Professor, Magneto's a lost cause. Why waste time on him?
There were a dozen times Eric could have handed us over to Apocalypse in exchange for his child, but he didn't. And that proves there is hope for even the hardest of hearts.
I still don't quite understand how Apocalypse lost control of the power. The only way that could have happened is if the device had been tampered with.
Forget about it, Beast. Your machine wasn't perfect, that's all. It's not like someone would have sabotaged it.
Now I do have some final thoughts to say about that cliffhanger, but first, some new Game Plus stuff. After beating the game, we unlock Deadpool, but to unlock Professor X, you have to complete all of the Danger Room missions. That includes beating the Nightmare bosses. If you don't want to do it the legit way, you can unlock him by just entering a cheat code. And he's kinda not worth the bullshit you have to go through to get him. As for Deadpool, I saw a comment on a forum once that described him as a kind of Nightcrawler clone with guns, which I think is pretty accurate. Also in the main menu, you can choose hard mode and play through the story again with your current save, or if you hate yourself, you can begin hard mode with the default stats. I've never tried beating the game on hard mode because if that's anything like those nightmare missions in the Danger Room, then to that I say, hell no, to the no. Now going back to that cliffhanger, certainly one way to tease for X-Men Legends 3, but that never happened. Instead we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and Sinister's not present in that game, but that's okay because I'm glad they made MUA1. That game basically perfected the formula going forward. But to answer the question, is this the best X-Men game? Well, until we get Insomniac's take on an X-Men game, which won't be for a while, then yes, this is the best X-Men game so far. I know that this has taken so long, but if you made it to the end of the video, then thank you. Seriously, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. If you guys want more content like this, then please leave a like and subscribe. Or if I missed something, leave it down below in the comments. I'll try not to make all of these kinds of videos this long, but once I get invested into something, I can talk about it for hours, as proven. So I apologize in advance. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.